Of Memphis. Here are your hosts, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin and Brett Stotts Norsworthy.
Welcome in, everybody, on this terrific Tuesday. Man, can you believe it? We dodged the bullet. I mean, we dodged the bullet on Ida. It just, if you're looking to the north, it just made a right going east and north and missed it. And it was obviously devastating in so many different areas. But we dodged the bullet, and the remnants that we got, which like it was supposed to be high winds and flash flooding and possible tornadoes. And I was warning everybody yesterday, and I'm so glad I'm wrong. But now today, low humidity, what are we, in the 80s? Low 80s, mid 80s. I mean, it's just gorgeous outside. That's the weather report right here at the Flynn Broadcasting Center. I can tell you that the weather report for Forest City is a lot of predictions. That is what we're going to be doing a bunch today with Brett Norsworthy. How are you?
I'm great, Dave, and we will have a lot of predictions. AAC, Tulsa, Navy, and Tulane. I don't have a lot of wins for any of those three either. And that's all three opponents of the Tigers. And at 5:30, we'll have Florida, Texas A&M, Tennessee, and Auburn. And we'll also, with Bo Marchand at 5 o'clock, have AFC picks. We'll do that side today. NFC next Tuesday. We'll have conference championship game picks. We'll have the winner. We'll have MVP of the AFC. We'll have Rookie of the Year of the AFC. We'll have Coach of the Year of the AFC.
Can I just tell you, since, I mean, I'll give you my stuff, you know, and I know you'll unveil it then. But I am making a bold prediction for the NFC rookie. And since I won't be here next Tuesday, I'll just pass it along to you that the rookie,
I may be with you.
The rookie of the year in the NFC will clearly be the quarterback that they've named the stadium after in Chicago. They now call it Soldier Fields.
Oh, it's Sid Luckman Stadium?
No, Soldier Fields.
Sid Luckman Stadium at Justin Fields?
Yeah, there you go. Justin Fields is going to be the NFC Rookie of the Year. I just want that stated, and I'm very high on the Rams, by the way. I'm surprised.
You remember we were talking yesterday about John Ward. He would always make the point, full tribute to General Neyland and Neyland Stadium, but he would always say the Tennessee Vols playing at Shields-Watkins Field.
He did. He was very specific.
Well, that's the name of it. He always would.
He was you're kind of an announcer because he was always full of detail. Seriously.
He could paint the picture.
He could, and he was clever. He had so many great things. I think he was most clever, honestly, in basketball. That was my favorite thing.
I promise you, when we were watching that, the group I was with, I said, he was the original one-man band in basketball. No engineer, no analyst, no statistician, no in-game anything. It was John Ward with that towel around his neck.
I was going to say, but
chopping it up.
He had a towel.
Yep.
My favorite line of his of all time was they had that shooter. Was his name Valentine? I think it was Valentine, wasn't it?
No, it was Dale Ellis.
Oh, Dale Ellis. You're right.
I cited this one too that night. Go ahead, tell the story. It's a good one.
He basically goes. They swing it around to Ellis on the left side. He's been hot from there. Told ya.
That's all you needed to know. You knew it. You knew it had gone through the net.
Yep. I love that. He was really good. He was really clever. How did we get? Oh, because he was so detail oriented.
Yeah, that's right. Dave, may I go another basketball direction?
Sure. Wait, you know what? Penny Hardaway is having a press conference right now. We should probably try to see what the heck he's saying. I'm sure there'll be stories coming out on it.
Listen in.
But
see what we get.
I just realized yesterday we literally went a whole show without mentioning Imani Bates, Jalen Duren, or Penny Hardaway. Did we?
No, we mentioned them. Yeah, you mentioned the story about it. It was during crunch time that the news came and what you knew today.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, that was just yesterday.
I couldn't go a whole day without it. What do you want?
Yeah, and on the basketball front, there have been many times and they've met in NCAA tournaments, but there've been many times that we thought when you get down there toward the 8 or the 4 that it would be Arkansas and Memphis and Arkansas, the Tigers and the Razorbacks.
Right.
You could even include the Tennessee Vols this year.
Wow.
What if, Dave? What if? They would probably, because of the regionality of it, would probably run into each other before all could punch tickets there. But what if you got to New Orleans
I know
and it was
saying.
Razorbacks, Tigers, Tigers, Vols, Vols, Razorbacks?
What if the Final Four consisted of Memphis, Arkansas, Tennessee, and Kentucky, and John?
There would not be one drop of cooking sherry left in New Orleans.
Oh man, that would
rubbing alcohol
something.
Would be consumed. There wouldn't be a drop of anything left.
You know what? We could probably retire forever because I don't think you could ever have a higher moment than that if that were the Final Four. Cal, Penny,
whole radio station goes.
Oh
I mean, we take everything down there. We take the Family Leisure Studio. I mean, literally brick by brick down there, don't we?
Yeah.
I went Butch Jones brick by brick.
Did,
you know,
well, Memphis is going to see them in week 2. I'm looking forward to seeing.
Will.
I'll tell you who else I'm looking forward to seeing.
But Tigers and Arkansas have all. I am too. I'm looking forward to that week. But Tigers and Memphis have been good a lot of times. And I'm shocked by now. They did meet in that famous Sweet 16 game in 95 in Kansas City. Great overtime game. And Arkansas went on to the last night of the year. And I think the Tigers would have. Because let's play that out in 95 real quick. So Tigers pulled upset in that first game that night. Let's say they win in overtime. And then in the second game, Virginia beat Kansas. And Kansas was de facto playing at home. So the Tigers would have beat Virginia on Sunday afternoon, advanced to play in the semis. I think it was North Carolina. Yeah. And Arkansas beat them. I think it would have been Tigers UCLA on Monday night in 95 that year. Said it at the time, and people took exception about it, but I think they would have. That's the deepest game they've ever faced each other. And then they had the famous second round game when Coach Hardaway was a player in 92 up in Milwaukee when the Tigers beat Arkansas.
You're talking about, though, the game where they call the
ticky-tack foul on Chris Garner.
Chris Garner, yeah, that
nickel and dimer, as Bill Raftery would say.
That was a terrible call.
When the whole game had been a Bruce Lee movie.
Yeah, well, yeah. Most of those games with Nolan, they were going to be physical, and you're going to call a touch foul
that far from the bucket too, Dave. I mean that was barely top of the key stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, that was.
Mingo Johnson had 32 in that game. Set too long. I thought Larry got him back in too late, and he got cold, but whatever. And it was cold outside too.
Yeah, that was another one of those near misses. So Memphis is due some really, really good luck all along the way, and maybe this will be the year. Certainly, it looks like it could be that way. It'd be interesting, and hopefully before the day is out, maybe on what we learned today, we'll find out exactly what Penny had to say. Rasheed Wallace is going to be a part of the press conference. I tried to actually get both of them on last week, and Cody Toppert was kind enough to come on, and he's just delightful to listen to.
I think I heard him one day.
Yeah. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So as long as we're doing,
I might have heard him on middays. I'm sorry, Dave. I was listening, but I heard him somewhere last week.
Well, yeah, he was with us last week. I think it was middays this week. Yesterday, could have been.
Was it? Whatever.
I think so. Anyway,
I've heard him somewhere.
It came out today in the Athletic. Stuart Mandel, who I think does a good job. Mandel has already come out with his playoffs and where teams are going to go and all the bowl matchups. And I thought,
tell me all of it. We won't even play the season. We'll go with Stu Baby.
Yeah. Well, here's what Stu Baby says. He's like everybody. He's got pretty much Oklahoma, Alabama, Clemson, and Ohio State. Their Final Four. Not really going out on the limb there. Clemson 1 seed, taking on Ohio State 4 seed. Oklahoma the 2 seed. Alabama the 3rd seed. That was not the most interesting thing to me, though. The most interesting thing to me was the bowl that he has Memphis in. And if this is the case, once again, Steve Earhart and the AutoZone Liberty Bowl will not get an SEC team. The Big 12 will be represented by TCU, and Stuart Mandel has Memphis in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl.
I take that right now.
I agree. He's got Ole Miss and Boston College same day, December the 31st. You know what?
The AutoZone Liberty Bowl is on December 28th.
Yeah, that's right. They moved it. On the 31st, in the Gator Bowl, he's got Ole Miss and Boston College.
I'd take that right now and not play it down. No, I won't say not play it down. I want to play it down, but I'd take that right now.
If I were you, I would shoot for better.
Oh, I'd be very happy to go to a Gator Bowl. It'd be Ole Miss's first Gator Bowl since 1990 against Michigan, and will be the first time to play Boston College in a long, long time. Ole Miss has played and played them at Chestnut Hill, but a long time ago.
Well,
when the grass was green and the mud was mud.
You know, that Ole Miss A&M game is in Oxford. That could be for second place right there, depending. Well, LSU, LSU, and
I hope you're right.
Alabama are going to be. In the mix.
I hope by the end of the year, the Gator, I can kind of look down my nose at the Gator Bowl, but I wouldn't do that because it's good folks, and I've never been. I'd love to go. I'd be very proud of Ole Miss if that's where it ended up.
Okay.
In the season ended up. I saw a bowl projection that had the Tigers at the new stadium in Birmingham playing Tennessee in the Birmingham Bowl.
I'd be happy for that matchup. I really would.
At the new stadium,
because
yeah.
it's first of all, I have.
We've had enough of Legion Field.
I have to admit,
we can't do it anymore.
I had Legion Field fatigue.
Yeah, well,
I did.
Legion Field had Dave fatigue. It had all kind of fatigue. It had structural fatigue.
Really and truly outlived. It should have been closed 5 years ago. Really, it was.
Try 25
disarray. Well, I could live with it until the last 5 years.
Oh, Dave, no.
And
when it was nice, it wasn't nice.
I love Birmingham, though. I really do. I love visiting
that
Birmingham. Bowl game. That bowl game it's okay. I'm not going to go.
That's good people that run that bowl. I know them well, and they really go all out.
They don't go all out like some other bowls. There are some things they do, but they're limited to budget. And
remember the tier it
has. I get that. But I'm just saying to you, if you want events and maybe more participation with the citizens of a particular city, like Memphis does for the AutoZone Liberty Bowl.
Memphis sure does.
The Birmingham Bowl is just not in that particular class.
Well, Dave, after how the AutoZone Liberty Bowl treats people, and after how the Cotton Bowl treats people, and then from the ones I've been to, I would say Rose, Sugar, Rose. It's all downhill from there. It's nice. Outback was great, even in a pandemic year, but now it's just hard to fight that hospitality, and the AutoZone Liberty Bowl is in it. I've been to 15 different bowls, and it is at the top.
I haven't been to as many bowl games as you have been, or different bowl games, I should say. I would tell you that the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, what they do with a parade and the rodeo,
the hospitality, the friendliness, the Southern charm.
They open up the Peabody Hospitality Room. They do it like the big time bowls do. And I've never been to a Rose Bowl game in Pasadena. I've been to the Rose Bowl, but I've never been to the game. The Cotton Bowl, I've never been to the Sugar Bowl, and I've heard the Sugar Bowl is phenomenal, and many people that I know actually go on a yearly basis. But the Cotton Bowl is the best hospitality that I've ever seen, and I've seen it a few times because I work in Dallas,
living there.
But
you knew Hoss Brock before the gigantic fall.
Oh yeah, for the next level. The AutoZone Liberty Bowl is the class. It really is. It is the class.
I don't even think it's a noticeable delineation. I mean, it is right in there swinging.
I agree
with those and so much fun. We will talk a lot of college football. I want to talk to you about FanDuel. Brett Norsworthy, FanDuel Sportsbook. It's hooking up new users with enhanced odds of 30-1 for the first big college football game of the year. That's Georgia Clemson. That's right. Just pick either Georgia or Clemson, and you could turn a little old $5 $100 bet into $150 payday. I love Georgia in this game. Georgia all-time against Clemson, 42 wins against only 18 losses. I think they make it 43. Sign up and make your first deposit to kick off the college football season on America's #1 sports book. There's no better place to bet college football than at FanDuel Sportsbook. The promotions are great. It's easy to use, #1 rated sportsbook app, and the payouts, they're fast, faster than anyone. They're paid out in as little as 24 hours. You won the money, you get it back fast. So make the most out of college football this week with enhanced 30-1 odds on Georgia and Clemson. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and sign up using promo code CASH so they know we sent you. That's promo code CASH. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max refund $10 unless otherwise indicated. Restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis. Happy September at midnight tonight from everyone at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them up at 901-362-8833. And September's here, and Lexus of Memphis offering the September Golden Opportunity Sales Event over this Labor Day weekend. Great offers on all 2021 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2021 flagship LS 500, and you'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. 901-362-8833. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, this really kind of blew me away earlier today because you sort of touched on it. You believed it yesterday. Maybe you had an inkling, or maybe it was just an excellent guess. But Cam Newton out, released by the New England Patriots. So Bill Belichick, usually in favor of grizzled veterans, has decided to go with the true rookie from Alabama. He will be the starting New England quarterback, Cam Newton, who I thought played well but made a mistake about the protocol somewhere along the lines.
Did that
he
get him
lost
cut?
The confidence of Belichick, and he is out. And I frankly am
Was it a
little
COVID
surprised.
cut?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think he really had COVID. He just went, remember, to get screened outside the region.
That's right. You were exactly. David is important. Just because you're positive doesn't mean you're sick,
Right.
and just because you were in violation of protocol doesn't mean it was COVID. Thank you.
Yeah.
You were right, and I need to be careful about that.
Well, he ticked him off by doing it, though.
He did.
He should have known better. I don't know if that's it, though. When you make an innocent mistake like that, and Belichick did not ream him from that. In fact, seemed to be understanding of the misunderstanding, if I could put it that way. And yet, a week later or less, the guy is out. And I actually thought he played okay.
Matt Jones won that job, though, on the field, and I think he won it in the locker room
I
with
think so, too.
those veterans.
Yeah.
And you almost have to win the latter as much as you do the former, especially as a rookie, and displacing a league MVP and a former Heisman Trophy winner. My top story, no football tonight, but starting tomorrow night. Yes, tomorrow night, UAB and Jacksonville State. I hate even saying Jacksonville State. It almost gives me nightmares from that 2010 Ole Miss opener against Jacksonville State. UAB and Jacksonville State tomorrow night in Montgomery. It's in Montgomery tomorrow night, and that starts an orgy of college football now really through the Super Bowl. And the Super Bowl this year, Sunday, February 13th. Nationally, football's America's #1 sport. NFL in its own galaxy at #1. College football, not in its own galaxy, but it's #2. From now until NBA executives have complained for years of having to go up against college football. College basketball long ago, not here, but nationally, got relegated to a March Madness sport. America's pastime is football.
You mentioned that game in Montgomery. Is that the new stadium? They have a new stadium, I'm pretty sure, in maybe it's Mobile that I'm thinking.
Mobile has a new stadium where South Alabama plays.
Yeah, that's it. That's where
you were just
I
in
was
Montgomery,
confused.
where I think this game is being played tomorrow night.
Oh, that is
UAB in Jacksonville State.
Yeah, that is exactly right. And that stadium, that's old. Now that was a World War II project. And
The
literally,
Crampton Bowl.
It was literally a World War II.
Yeah,
class.
I think a minor battle or two in World War II was fought there.
Yeah.
Not top story of the day.
The New Orleans Saints, even though they've gotten word that there is no damage to their headquarters in Metairie, nor is there any damage besides a minor leak to a window at the Superdome, they're most likely going to be on the road hosting Green Bay week number 1 because they're not sure there'll be power in the city of New Orleans and very many people in the city of New Orleans by the time the NFL season begins and the Saints were to host the Green Bay Packers. So where will they go? Well, it can't be Dallas because there is a setup for a concert. It can't be Houston, which really would have been very good for their fans. Can't be Houston because there's a Guns N' Roses concert that night. So music is getting in the way of the National Football League. That's the only thing, Brett, that can stop the NFL is a already booked concert.
Somebody step up and offer the Liberty Bowl to them.
We'd love it. We'd accept
Why
that.
wouldn't that get done? Why wouldn't somebody right now be calling saying, rent-free, come and have that game here?
That would be the week after the Southern Heritage Classic. A lot of those people could stick around.
My not top story, Ryan Silverfield, whose team plays at the Liberty Bowl. He's playing a little rope-a-dope, a little hide-and-go-seek with the old quarterback depth chart stuff. I like it. Big deal. It's mostly a media-driven deal about wanting the depth charts. But somebody's going to run out there first on Saturday night. Thus, that's the starter. Several will play at quarterback. Tigers are going to win easily over Nichols. And whomever plays best, I bet that who would be the starter and the first guy to run out there in Jones Boogie on Saturday night, the 11th.
I think that's very fair. I also think this. The new term, because of the free year and the transfer portal, is roster management. And the transfer portal is ever more present now than ever before because of that extra year. I think a lot of coaches are holding off as long as they can because they are worried that the guys that don't get the position, the guys that have been beaten out, instead of sticking around to be a good teammate or to wait their turn or just to be depth for injury, they're going, nah, I'm going to go play. I want to go somewhere I can play. I get a free year. I'm going to do it. I'm going to transfer. I think.
Do they even go to the Red Stars office and tell them I'm out of here?
I have no idea. That's a good question.
Or do you just bolt and go enroll somewhere else?
I think you have to make the announcement to your team, which then puts you in the transfer portal. So then they would then let your classes know this kid's not coming, I guess. I'm guessing on that. That'll be a good question for the coach.
I had a buddy one time. I was standing in the drop ad line, and he thought it was $10 per hour to drop a class. And we're standing in line. It was a long time ago. This is fall of 1982. Great guy, too. We're standing in line, and he's asking me, he said, is it $10 per hour or $10 a class? I said, well, I don't really know. So we got up there. He was one person in front of me, and the lady said, no, it's $10. You can drop 15 hours or 2 hours or 4 hours. That was it. He said, drop them all. He dropped all 15 right there. I swear he did.
Oh, gosh. I bet his parents.
He said, drop them all.
I guarantee
I said, what the hell are you going to do the rest of the semester? He said, drink heavily.
I can tell you his parents were really proud of that.
Yeah. His dad just recently passed when I called for the condolence call. We laughed about that. I said, nothing better than you stand in the drop ad line and just drop the whole semester right there in one fell swoop.
Man. And those are the top and the not top stories. We've got a busy show. It's going to be a lot of fun. Gabe Kuhn's going to join us. We will talk about that illustrious depth chart that the University of Memphis has come out with a lot of oars. So you don't really know exactly for sure in a lot of areas, but we'll get some insight from him. More college football from Brent Beard with those great notes that he puts out every week. He'll join us at 4. We make those AAC picks. Tulsa, Navy. Tulane's got some wins. They're going to get a few from me anyway. Then at 5, Beau Marchant and all the AFC picks. Then comes the SEC picks. We get some pretty good teams in Florida, in A&M, and then Auburn will end the day with Taco Bell crunch time. So we're busy, and we are now officially underway.
You have opinions?
Like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad.
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Is your bank standing in the way of you and your sportsbook? Try Action 24/7. We're cutting out the middleman. Deposit or withdrawal in cash. No more bank delays or failures. Action 24/7 has more than 100 partners in Tennessee for cash deposits and withdrawals. Visit action247.com for a location. Cash deposits and withdrawals from your Tennessee sportsbook. Action247.com. You got action.
Must be 21 or older and in Tennessee. For problem gambling support, call 800-889-9789.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, Orco hard coolers, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solution.
I'm Brian Elder. The great Kimmons Wilson of Holiday Inn had a slogan: the best surprise is no surprise. And that's so true. When I sit at your kitchen table, you're going to understand exactly what I'm going to do to your roof. From the underlayment to the hip shingles and ventilation, the flashing, the wood repairs, the cleanup, the crew safety, the warranty. It's amazing how many customers sign contracts being told none of that stuff. But the best surprise is no surprise. Insurance claims. Talk to your friends. More and more claims are being rejected, and only experienced claims specialists are getting those terrible decisions overturned. So if you don't hire me, please hire someone to manage the process with the experience to see it through. The best surprise is no surprise. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Hurry, hurry, hurry. Step right up and save money like never before at the Sunrise Chevy Big Top 10 event. See high prices disappear before your very eyes. Huge discounts and factory rebates up to $6,000. Bankrupt, slow pay, divorce, it's okay. The Sunrise Chevy team has over $500 million available for immediate financing and wants to get you financed. An $18 million used car inventory specializing in cars and trucks under $10,000. See them all at sunrisememphis.com. The Sunrise Chevy tent sale in Collierville. Find new roads to Collierville, partner.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Cruising right through first hour on this just terrific Tuesday. And it's terrific as we get to chat with our friend Gabe Kuhn. Did a great job filling in for you last week. And we got something meaty to talk about now because yesterday, as we told you, right as the program was coming on the air, the University of Memphis released their Too Deep. And we've been waiting for it, wondering who the quarterback would be. We got a great Gunnell or Seth Hennigan. We were wondering about the position of center, and we got Jacob Likes or Jakari Robinson. We were wondering about the left tackle. We got Jonah Gamble or Austin Myers. And by the way, we didn't get the kid from Michigan State at all at any position on the line. He didn't make the top 2 deep in any line position. That's Dobbs. Wow. So there were some surprises for sure. Gabe Kuhn joins us, the former offensive lineman who had been to practice a couple of times, still has some pretty good friends on the team. Give me your insight as to what you were most surprised at when you looked at this 2 deep yesterday.
Believe it or not, Dave, and how are you guys doing this afternoon? But believe it or not, the quarterback did not surprise me. Seth Hennigan is a guy who, as a true freshman, has shown a lot of poise during camp. I want to see, I'm very curious about when the bullets start flying, because there's nothing like game experience. You can get all of the practice experience, the fall camp experience that you want, but there's nothing like the game. I would say the biggest surprise right this second is that Austin Myers has not taken over at left tackle and Jakari Robinson has not taken over at center. And I sort of understand. Those are relatively understandable considering those guys are transfers. And if you talk to any O-lineman, Brett, you know this as well, Dave, it's about the synergy you have with the guy next to you. How well does he know the offense? Does he know your strengths and weaknesses? So I understand to a certain extent, but those are definitely the surprises, I think, when you look at the depth chart.
Gabe, did you ever have to walk in at this time of year and wonder where 71, Gabe Kuhn, St. Louis, Missouri, where he was on a depth chart?
You know what? I was blessed. Never had to.
You knew you'd earned your spot in April.
Yes, and when you start for 1 year, you tend to get the nod of confidence going into that next year. I say the only thing was my sophomore year when Drew Kaiser had come along. I had hurt my knee, so that was the only situation where the depth chart was a little different. I didn't know if I was going to be playing center or right guard. I knew I was going to be at the top of the depth chart somewhere, but I didn't know if it was going to be at center or right guard.
Which one actually did you prefer?
Oh, that's a great question. I thought, Dave, if I would have played center my entire career, the NFL prospects would have been a lot better than they were. I liked right guard better because it's easier, and you get to be a little more physical. Because when you have the ball in your hand, you have a lot of responsibility. You have to make all the calls. So center would have been more beneficial for me, but right guard is where I preferred, I'd say.
You know, we all tend to think in this day and age, money usually dictates. The left tackle's the most valuable player on the offensive line. Bob Rush used to tell me, though, every play starts with me. I got to make those line calls. That the center position is really the most important. As somebody who played just about every position on that line, which do you think, if you're building your team as a coach, where are you putting your best offensive lineman?
Well, and honestly, it depends of what their makeup is mentally, what their makeup is physically. I'm putting my most physically talented, most athletic guy, who's the whole package athletically at left tackle. But if I'm talking about smarts, if I'm talking about game IQ, that's my center. All day, every day. He can be 5'11", 300. He can be small. He doesn't have to be a big guy in stature, but he's got to get everybody on the same page. So my best overall lineman would be my left tackle, but my most smart lineman would be my center.
Gabe, playing either tackle position, did you ever take it as an affront when they would bring somebody in motion to help block on that side or bring the tight end over to your side? Or were you always thinking, look, I don't need any help. I can handle this guy by myself?
And honestly, that's a great question, Brett, because I think when you're talking about getting chip help, when you're talking about things like that, it's usually on a third down. It's usually in an obvious pass situation. I don't think you should take offense to that. In certain situations, you do, though. You feel like you can handle it yourself. But when you talk about game planning, and you talk about what a coach has to do to keep his quarterback upright, you have to at times. And when you get to 3rd and long, you have really, really athletic edge rushers now, and you have to account for them. So I found myself at times playing tackle getting a little offended that I needed chip help, but I do respect the fact as a game planner that you have to provide that sometimes.
Yeah, you'd much rather have that than looking back and seeing the quarterback
Exactly.
get peeled up off the turf.
And think about some of these guys coming off the edge now, Brett.
Oh,
I mean,
it's
you got
freak shows.
6'5", 260 pounds, and they run a 4.5, right?
And they don't wear pads.
If I'm watching game film of the opponent for the next week, and I'm the coach, I'm saying, you know what? I know we have a good left tackle. We trust him, or right tackle. I know we trust him, but look at this guy. You know, like I cannot go into a game without accounting for who they have on the other side.
Yeah. You look at the offensive line, you've seen the 2 deep, and, you know, even Kevin Johns told us a couple of weeks ago, I believe, that, you know, the philosophy is not to use more than 6 to 7 guys in any kind of rotation. So how good is this offensive line, especially when I look there and the kid from Michigan State who was, I think, playing with the ones during spring, he's not even on the 2 deep.
He actually, you're talking about Devontae Dobbs.
Yeah.
He did not play with the ones in the spring.
Okay.
He got some reps. They rotated him in, but he never really took over with the ones group. And he's been banged up. And he's got a little bit ways to go. So that's that situation. But what else? What was your other question? I'm sorry.
I guess, how deep is this line? Is this one of the better lines that we've had in a while? Certainly it appears to be a stronger line than a year ago.
It is, and it's about experience. You have guys like Jonah Gamble, who've been here on campus for a year. Jacob Likes, who's been on campus for 2 now. Dylan Parham, we know how good he is. Isaac Ellis has a lot of experience. Matt Dale has a lot of experience. And when you talk about depth, I think it's a good sign that Jacob Likes is an either-or with Jakari Robinson. That Jonah Gamble is an either-or with Austin Myers, who has a lot of experience, Myers and Robinson. So I think when you compare it to a year ago, it's going to be a better situation for everybody involved. I think the run game will be better. It's going to be more physical. But when you talk about some of the lines that we've seen at the University of Memphis, I mean, I remember right when I left, 2018, they were up for the, I believe it's called the Joe Moore Award, the O-line award, right? So there's been some very good O-lines recently at the University of Memphis. So I would say that this is going to be better than last year. They have more pieces. If there's injuries, they can make some switches, and that's a good thing. But when you compare it to a few years ago, I mean, it has to prove itself to be on the level of that 2018, 2017 O-line.
Gabe, is it up to the locker room sheriffs, the leadership council, the captains, mostly senior, upperclassmen, returning starters? Is it up to them to tell everybody, don't be talking about Arkansas State and Mississippi State. Let's take care of Nichols and then go to Jonesboro next week. Whose job is that in the locker room?
That is first and foremost. I think the coaches have to get a hold on that. It's Nichols State this week. That has to be their message. There's nothing else that we're worried about besides who we have this week. I know they're not an opponent that's going to scare you in a whole lot of ways, but you have to pay attention to them and you have to get better. So I think the coaches have to start by doing that. But yes, you're right. Your senior leadership has to be, senior upperclassmen leadership has to be locked in. Dylan Parham has to let the O-line know that we cannot take this week off. We can't take this week for granted. Everybody within the position groups has to be brought along by somebody with experience. So yes, I do believe that the upperclassmen and the leaders need to step up and say, let's not look past Nichols State. This is a good team. They've put up some points last year. They're going to be able to compete. We don't want to overlook them.
Ranked 24th in FCS preseason poll.
Right. And very, very high-powered offense last year. Lindsey Scott Jr., their quarterback, is a very good player, sort of dual-threat guy. It's going to be a challenge. And I think with rotating quarterbacks, with no starter necessarily named, it's going to be interesting, to say the least, to see how this offense gets going against them.
Right before we brought you on, or maybe before the break, we were talking a little bit about the way you have to manage a roster now, especially with all these free years and the transfer portal. And that could very well be why there are 8 he on this Memphis depth chart. 8 ors. How much of that do you think is influenced by the ability for a kid now to transfer without sitting out a year?
I would imagine a whole lot. You have a guy like Grant Gunnell who came in expecting to be obviously not just competing for the starting job, but to be the starter. And you don't want to immediately throw Seth Hennigan in there as a starter and offend him and have him leave, right? So I think there are certain situations where you have to be a lot more, hold yourself accountable to the promises you gave guys on the recruiting trail. So I think there's some of that. But I also think when you look at this depth chart, some of the either-ors are genuinely because they do not know at this point who that guy is going to be, who is going to be the more productive player.
Why would you not know at this point? You've just had a full spring, and you had all 15 days, and Ryan Silverfield was talking about how productive this camp was, and they got all 15 in without any problem. There weren't any really big injury issues. Why would you not know at this point?
Well, when you look on the offensive side of the ball, all 3 of the guys that are ors are new. There's new guys involved. Grant Gunnell, Seth Hennigan, that's an either-or. Jonah Gamble, Austin Myers, either-or. Jacob Likes, Jakari Robinson, that's an either-or. They're all new guys that are getting new experience. At this point in time, I think you as a evaluator of talent, you as a coach, there are some guys, and I mentioned this on middays yesterday, there are some guys that are gamers. In practice, they're not necessarily the best type of players. But once they see the bright lights, once they start to see the bullets flying in game action, they rise to the occasion. So I think with Nicholls State being the first game opponent, that's a lot of what we're seeing is the evaluation of when the bright lights get on these guys. How are they going to react?
In some cases, I view maybe he's got 7 guys you really relies now on that offensive line. Those are the 7 guys that'll be in the rotation for sure, unless a good guy, there's an injury and a guy like Devontae Dobbs starts to prove himself.
And when you talk about rotation at O-line, I don't know if you ever, from my experience, from what I think works, I don't think a rotation is ever a smart idea on an O-line. I think you need, early in the season, there's always an evaluation period where you have an either-or situation where you try to rotate guys in and see how they play when the lights come on, like I mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
But later in the season, as you get to game 4, game 5, back half of the schedule, you have to have 5 guys that are going, that you trust fully, that work together the right way. So hopefully they figure it out sooner than later which of those guys that they trust.
Last thing for Gabe Kuhn and either side of the ball, which is the one thing that maybe you weren't aware of when this thing came out, that this guy was going to have this kind of a role? Some might say Brandon Thomas, but we already knew about Brandon Thomas.
Yeah, I knew about Brandon Thomas. Brandon Thomas runs the ball very hard. I would say on the offensive side of the ball, Marquavius Weaver. We knew about Gabe Rogers as well, so I'm leaving him out of this one.
Right.
Dave, he's definitely one guy that I think they expect a big year out of. I don't know if people really thought that he was on the offensive side of the ball yet, but we knew about that, so I'm going to leave him out of this. The one guy I'm looking at is Marquavius Weaver, being on the list of guys that will be a big part of the run game. He has worked so hard. He was there when I was there. He's now a redshirt senior from Bartlett, hometown kid, finally got put on scholarship. I am expecting big things from this year because this is his last year to prove what he can in front of his home crowd. So that's one that was surprising to me, considering Drake Clark was a guy who played a whole lot of a big role
last year. And actually, Weaver's actually your biggest in terms of weight. He's your biggest running back.
Yes, and I think he will get a lot of the short yardage stuff because he's very good at sticking his nose in there and getting just the yardage you need for a first down, for a touchdown, whatever it may be. Defensively, I don't know how you felt about this. I knew that Greg Rubin was going to be a good player, but to be splitting time with Julian Barnett, to be an either or with Julian Barnett, that is flooring, right? Just because Julian Barnett, high expectations coming from Michigan State, 6'2", lengthy. I'm very excited about what he can do. But I did not know Greg Rubin was going to put himself in a position
I'm with you.
to possibly start over a guy like that, right? So that's the surprise on the defensive side.
I think you nailed it because that is stunning. Julian Barnett, we're all sitting here talking about how this guy's got NFL potential, is special, and a true freshman from White Station may beat him out. Wow, this kid Rubin must be really good.
And I think it's similar when you look at Greg Rubin and you look at like a Seth Hennigan. You got freshmen right now that are competing with guys who have been there, done that at Power 5 programs. That should be very exciting.
No doubt. Thank you, Gabe. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Talk to you next
week.
Thank you,
Gabe. Talk to Gabe next week for sure. We'll talk to Gabe, Talking Tigers, every Tuesday afternoon. Look, everybody, it's fun to see all the new All-Star Edition Silverado trucks at All-Star Chevrolet. I've been down, I've looked them over, and you need to as well. So many certified pre-owned Chevys. If it's the Chevy you want this fall, they have it at All-Star Chevrolet at Olive Branch. Olive Branch is where you want to be. If you have a car or a truck to sell, All-Star will buy it even if you own it. Or bring the title, and they'll write you a check today. Remember, it's not South Haven, it's not Collierville, it's not Mount Moriah, it's not the Pike. It's got to be All-Star Chevrolet at Olive Branch off Kraft Goodman Road. So easy to find. Find those new roads to All-Star Chevy or go to allstarautogroup.com.
We are sitting in the Family Leisure studio, and I know because today's the last day of August that tomorrow there's going to be some new deals. So this weekend you may want to get to Family Leisure. And I'm telling you, start thinking about that hot tub. Prices will go up. Get it now. Reserve yours before the cold weather comes. I was watching on TV the other day. They were showing all the game room stuff they got. That stuff's fun. And they got some markdowns. And they also still have play gyms. Everything is great. Now the fall stuff's coming in. You need to check it out this weekend. Get to I-40 and Wooden Road. Family Leisure, where family and fun all come together. They 24/7 has put out the top 10 classes in basketball recruiting in the NCAA. I love this. I'll tell you, all 10. Remember that Final Four we just had? They're all in there. We talk about that when we come back.
Get happy with Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 3 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Getaway Sports Bar, the best kept secret in town. Open noon to 1:30 a.m. 7 days a week. Garvin, the owner, created this SEC NFL Dream Bar over 20 years ago. You'll never miss a minute of action. 10 TVs, 5 70-inch TVs for all the big games. Rack them up on 6 pool tables. Coldest beer in town. Grab you a pool stick and get you some good bar grub. 100% Angus burgers, big and moist chicken tenders. Daily happy hour Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. with long neck domestics, 225 Getaway Sports Bar, 4632 Winchester.
At Gateway Tire, we go the distance for you.
When it comes to tires, auto repair, and car maintenance, Gateway has it all. Gateway Tire and Service Center is here to help you with all your service and tire needs. Choose from Yokohama, Toyo, Firestone, and Michelin. The list goes on and on. We have tires for all your needs and budgets. And when it comes to service, Gateway Tire has the most experienced mechanics and state-of-the-art equipment. Come see us for any repairs, alignment, struts, air conditioner, schedule maintenance, and more, including brakes with a free brake inspection. Then take advantage of the Gateway credit card. Apply today for stress-free financing made easy with no annual fee. Ask about our 6-month deferred interest with any purchase over $149. Go to gatewaytireandservice.com for great deals and coupons. Gateway Tire and Service Center has it all for you and your family.
At Gateway Tire, we go the distance for you.
Hey, if you're hungry for great Mexican food for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, got it. La Guadalupana. Guadalupana. Choose from tacos, burritos, enchiladas, sizzling shrimp, beef, or chicken fajitas, and even a Cuban sandwich filled with Mexican sauces, chicken, ham, steak, jalapenos, avocado, and more. How about super nachos topped with melted cheese, beans, sour cream, guacamole, tomato, and jalapenos? All great with nice cold beer, domestic and imported. Good prices, generous portions, great service at 2 locations, Summer Avenue and Cordova Road. La Guadalupana.
It's time to make this the summer event you've been waiting for at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat. We goss it all with 2021 Grand Cherokee El Laredo 4x4, $399 a month. 2021 Dodge Challenger XST, $398 a month. And 2021 Dodge Charger XST, $409 a month. Plus, get some serious performance in 2021 Ram 1500 Laramie Crew Cab 4x4, $499 a month. And bring in your trade for top dollar and get a new Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat from Gossett. So drive past the rest, come for the best, or shop online, GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Almost financed through Chrysler. Challenger Charger 75 months at 3.99 APR, all $49.99 down. Jeep Ram 48 month lease, 10,000 per year, 25 cents excess mileage. Cherokee MH 16 1836, MSRP 44,235. Challenger MH 603 214, MSRP 32,505. Charger MH 602 256, MSRP 33,435. Ram MN 8 19012, MSRP 59,110. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 8/31/2021. Dealer stock only.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
We like to party.
This just in, I love this news. Bobby Cochran, head golf professional at Colonial Country Club. Man, he is doing that beautiful, historic club right. He's done it again. Bobby Cochran, who you might remember, qualified for the U.S. Senior Open, and actually I think for a short period of time, he got like a birdie on the first hole. He was leading the whole tournament, and then just missed making the cut. But he has just, moments ago apparently, won the Senior PGA Pro Championship for the state of Tennessee. I know the first day he shot in the low 60s. Can't remember the exact score, but he just won the whole thing. So it's been a great year for Bobby Cochran and all the folks at Colonial, making the Senior U.S. Open and now winning the state PGA Senior Professional Championship. How about that? I couldn't ask for a better guy from a better club. Okay, so I mentioned as we were going to the break, the 24/7 top 10 teams in recruiting in college basketball for this year. Memphis, is number one now that they got 2 5-stars, 2 4-stars, 2 3-stars, according to 24/7. Pretty good class right there. And that doesn't include Timberlake or Chandler Lawson. So add those 2 guys to it. Then Michigan is number 2. Gonzaga, number 3, the Vols, who will play Memphis in Nashville. I think, what is it, Brett? December 18th? Isn't that the date? I think that's right.
Yes.
They're 4. Duke is 5. LSU is 6. Will Wade has done a heck of a job. Creighton is 7. We'll see if Will Wade lasts
with
there.
Issues.
Yeah, we'll see if he lasts there. Creighton is 7. Florida State, Leonard Hamilton. I guess we'll never know, but what would have happened here if R.C. Johnson had been able to finish and give the correct offer to Leonard Hamilton when John Calipari left We'll never know, but he's done an amazing job at Florida State. Bobby Hurley at UConn. He is the number 9 recruiting class.
Danny Hurley.
Danny Hurley. He's crazier than Bobby. Danny is.
They're both nuts.
Yeah.
The dad was nuts.
Well, he can coach and he can recruit, and he's got a number 9 class. Cal has slipped all the way to 10. All the way to number 10.
I sure hate it.
I thought Musselman's class was in the top 10, but apparently it is not. It's got to be close, though. I can tell you where he killed it was in the transfer portal.
Yeah, and he knows how to bring it all together. Last year, he went to the Elite Eight in his second year there, and that was not that ballyhooed. He just got them better at week in and week out, and that's what counts, because all this star stuff's not going to matter anything late January.
Apparently, Penny was asked about Amani Bates at point guard during his press conference today, and Jason Munz has tweeted out, he wants to run the point and wants me to teach him how to play point. I don't think that's a bad thing. You're okay with putting the ball in his hands because he's built for that. That was Penny Hardaway on the point guard position and the placement where he'll put Imani Bates. And that is 1 hour in the books. We will dedicate this next hour a little bit more to college football, and it will begin with our friend who puts out these great notes every week on the SEC, on the ACC. Brent Beard is right around the corner.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
The real estate market is always tough, but this market, it's unlike anything we've ever seen. When the average home stays on the market just 24 days and houses routinely go for more than the listing price, who you work with matters. Realtors have the expertise, local knowledge, and personal touch to give you a competitive advantage throughout the entire home buying process. And that's something an ordinary agent could never do. So make sure your agent is a Realtor. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
If you're going on vacation, making a college campus visit, or if business takes you out of town, there's just no better place to board your dog than Barks and Recreation, 965 Reddick Cove between Bud Davis Cadillac and the Blue Plate Cafe in East Memphis. Boarding, daycare, grooming, we have the best of everything at Barks. Indoor-outdoor kennels so your family member can go in and out as they please. Indoor and outdoor play areas. 4 walks a day. Group play and individual attention from the best staff in the Mid-South, which includes an overnight staff to ensure the safety and comfort of your pet 24 hours a day. All reasons to choose Barks and Recreation above all other boarding and daycare facilities. BarksDaycare.com or 509-0909. Check us out and make your reservations now at BarksDaycare.com. If your dog could speak, he'd say Barks.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Hotty toddy Ole Miss.
Boom! That's a way to start it. Right open down the seam. Caught. Touchdown. Caught at the 20 by Braylon Sanders. He trots into the end zone. Touchdown. We run this ship. That Corral is on a roll. He's got it to the 20, to the 10, to the 5. Lane Kiffin throws his clipboard.
Monday, Ole Miss battles Louisville and Atlanta. Kickoff at 7 with pregame coverage starting at 5 on your home for the Rebels.
Catch Ole Miss Rebels football right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Ocean and Brett Norsworthy.
My world was strapped against my back. I held my hand.
Welcome back in on this terrific Tuesday afternoon. Again, Memphis got lucky. They avoided all the really tough weather that so many of our neighbors got. Ida kind of made a nice northeastern skip of Memphis. We appreciate that. And the weather here is gorgeous. We go to Jacksonville, Florida. Brent Beard all set for the big weekend openers for most. He's got them all listed here and goes over them on his notes. And, I guess you can't help but Georgia Clemson for national implications. That's the biggest game of the week, but there are so many good ones. LSU, UCLA, Boise, UCF. Don't forget Ole Miss and Louisville on Labor Day evening. There is a smorgasbord with which we can all gorge. Good afternoon, Brent Beard.
Just a tremendous week began. People may not realize this, but it begins tomorrow with UAB and Jacksonville State. And I know that's not on fire for a lot of people, but it's a unusual situation when we've got games Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I wish we could do this every week. I think that would just be wonderful. But and yes, some very good ones. A whole bunch of games on Thursday night. And by the way, that tropical storm, I'm afraid we're going to get a little bit of that maybe later tonight or tomorrow. But fortunately, it is nowhere near what it used to be. But that's not dousing my excitement for this coming week by any means.
Brent, you remember the day, and we both remember it, when the SEC, this year's the 30th year of the addition of South Carolina and Arkansas, two divisions.
Yep.
It necessitated the championship game that Roy Kramer and Charles Bloom found a loophole to have. It made the NCAA very angry then. Hey, NCAA, you think that made you mad?
Yeah.
We can show you stuff that'll really make you mad.
Really?
But we remember back in those days for the East supremacy of a lot of the 90s over the West. It's not even close anymore. If Georgia loses to Clemson, until an SEC championship game, there's not a, oh, wow, what a win for them the rest of the way, is it?
No, and that's, as some people have called it, almost I won't go that far, a junior college schedule, but no, that unfortunately there's really not. Now, if that was to happen, I think what they would need would be to and they won't like this, but it's the truth. They would need to have their cousins in Gainesville to really play well. Now, there's a shot that could Kentucky, with this new quarterback transfer from Penn State, Will Nevis, could they get off to a nice start and be a top 25 team? Florida likely will be. Missouri could too. So I think what I would say to that is there are no more Clemsons left on the schedule, but they would just have to hope their SEC brethren plays well in order to give them a chance to bounce off of that.
Well, I think Georgia. You're right. I mean, unless Kentucky or Missouri turn out to be really, really good, or Florida returns to form, I hear what you're saying. That until they get to the championship game, but they're going to get to the championship game, and they're going to be playing a team that's either going to be Alabama or A&M or LSU or maybe even Ole Miss that will have one sparkling resume by the time they get there. Clemson, on the other hand, Virginia Tech's not what it used to be. If they play, Notre Dame is. But if Notre Dame were to fall, let's say to Cincinnati, they don't even play until and they're not even playing them in the championship game because they're not a part of the league this year in football. So I think Georgia can recover quicker or has a better opportunity to recover than Clemson does if Georgia wins that game.
Well, if Clemson loses, I still think they could probably run through their league quicker than Georgia could. My concern for Georgia would be when you do get in the league, the accumulation of you lose a few starters, and then you are looking at a Kentucky or Missouri game that could really cause some problems here. Now, Clemson goes to NC State. They've had trouble in the NC State before. As we know, at Pitt could be very interesting for them.
They don't play either Virginia Tech or Notre Dame.
No, they don't. Now, Florida State is a home game, but Florida State's not ready to win a game like that. They do go to Louisville. I love Satterfield, but they don't have the personnel for that yet either. So, truthfully, after the Georgia game, I mean, my goodness,
there's nothing. I mean,
there's not. Is
Their November is Louisville, UConn, Wake Forest, and South Carolina.
Yeah.
That's a bunch of nobodies.
No,
their October is BC at Syracuse. Pitt is the one team. Florida State. I mean that's not overwhelming either.
It's not. Now, I do think Florida State will be better. Now, we don't know who the quarterback is going to be, either Kenzie Milton or Jordan Davis and Travis Jordan. And I think your reality for that is but still, the point is they just don't have enough at Florida State, even being improved, to be able to win that game. Frankly, Jordan Travis, what I meant, but I do think they will be frankly improved. And there are a lot of people thinking Georgia is not going to win this game with the injuries that they've got, and that Clemson may win by a couple touchdowns. I think Georgia wins this game. I don't see. Even with the injuries, it's not like Georgia doesn't have any other players.
I would tell you, I think that is unanimous. Brett has done a spot earlier in the day saying he thinks Georgia wins big. I think Georgia will win. I don't think it'll be big. I think it'll be a heck of a football game, but I think they will win. So all three of us are going in that direction. And if that's the case,
I think Georgia wins double digits.
Georgia ends up, with a really good chance to run the table till they get to the championship game.
And JT Daniels will rocket launch into Heisman Trophy consideration. Here's one for Georgia. Everybody talks about the last national championship. We know it was Herschel's freshman year 41 years ago. The last time they won the Heisman was Herschel in his junior year in 1982. They've only had one finalist, one other person go to New York since then in Garrison Hurst, no quarterback.
Right. Well, and to dovetail with that, the last time Georgia has lost an opener was Clemson in 2013. Last time Clemson lost an opener, Georgia in 2014. How about that?
Who's the SEC championship game, Brent? Who's your pick?
Look, until despite being surrounded by Gators here, I still think it's Alabama and Georgia. I mean, would it shock me if it was Florida and LSU? No, not necessarily. But I think until someone changes the circumstances, I think it's those two.
Any chance for A&M? I've got them in a very good position.
Oh, I think there is certainly a chance. I mean, with the games they've got at home, including Alabama. I mean, the King kid, is he going to be the guy? And talking to the A&M beat writers at SEC Media Days, they all said this team is ready to go. They are a quarterback away from being a playoff team. They've got a tremendous line of scrimmage. They're going to rebuild the offensive line a little bit, but that defensive line is an SEC defensive line. You know good and well who they've got at the skill positions and how good that they are. So, absolutely, A&M's in this thing to the end, probably.
Brent, the Saturday schedule for college football is great, and it extends into Sunday, and that extends into, in your part of the world, Mike Norvell against Notre Dame. I don't think many people have him on upset watch for that one, but what's the reasonable expectations after a crazy first year for him, COVID, off-the-field stuff, some locker room issues, some team discipline issues that he had? What's the reasonable expectations for Mike Norvell year two at FSU?
I think they could go anywhere from 6-6 to 8-4.
Those fans be pleased with 6-6?
Look, I think they'd almost sign a contract for that right now. Now that would be blasphemy as far as for old-time Florida State fans. And look, what they've really got to do, they're not going to beat Clemson, and that's not even the issue right now with them. What they've got to do, guys, is they've got to win these, shall we say, these 50-50 games. And if they can do that, meaning at Wake Forest, at North Carolina, I don't think they're up for that game yet. NC State, Miami, in November 20th, they go to Boston College, which could be snowing then, could it not? So, and I don't think they're going to beat Florida either. Still, yes, anything around 6-6, I think the natives would be pretty happy with that.
They won 8. They'd start calling him a genius again, I think.
Yeah.
Wow. 6-6.
My question is, Mackenzie Milton. I'm not saying. And I just watched 60 Minutes and the comeback of Alex Smith, which when you see what he looked like and what he had to go through, and he had to go to this rehab place that was really for the military, for people who had been, hit by grenades, or walked into mines, landmines. That's kind of rehab he had to do. Unbelievable. So I'm not saying Mackenzie Milton's rehab was like Alex Smith's, but it was pretty extensive. Do you really think he's going to come back? I mean, have you had a chance to watch him practice? Is he like the guy that was at UCF?
Well, he certainly has improved. He certainly understands what Mike Norvell wants to do. Now, they've got a pretty decent quarterback room. He and Jordan Travis are two pretty good players, and they're really deeper than that. I think what they don't know, Dave and Brett, for Milton, who had 9,000 yards basically at UCF, is what can he really do with live action that he'll get Sunday night? How confident are they in his leg? How confident are they? I think they know he knows the offense. That's not the issue. I think the issue is going to be when he takes that first hit from that porous offensive line. What's his mindset and the coach's mindset going to be then?
Brent, who wins between Alabama and the U?
Oh, I think Alabama just got the better roster in the game. Now, I think what you'll see is Derek King is healthy. Now, what I wonder is if they continue to pressure him and that game's out of hand, do they pull him fairly quickly? But, I mean, would it surprise me with Bryce Young being his first start on the road, not a true road game as it will be in Gainesville, and they're having to refurbish the offensive line? I mean, could this thing be dicey for a while going to halftime? I think that's probably very possible, but we're certainly hearing a much better Alabama defense is
the U ain't back either.
Will be in play. Look, Rhett Lashley is probably their best coach. Manny Diaz is now making the defensive calls, but and to their credit, I mean, they've got some nice players. Bubba Bolton, who's a safety, Georgia transfer Tyreek Stevenson, and they've got some guys like that. But the question from the Miami beat writers, they're not sure they can run the ball. They're not sure how long they'll go with Derek King. So just way too many questions for the Canes in this game.
We have a good friend that's on with us from CBS, David Cobb. He's a Chip Kelly guy. I can't wait for the LSU and UCLA game. Of course, it's in Pasadena. Do you think UCLA has a chance to beat LSU?
No. They don't have the players, the coaching, and the mindset that LSU does. One of the things that I've really been impressed with LSU is they pretty much everybody comes back on that offensive and defensive line. And look, I hope Chip Kelly succeeds. I really do. And again, got to remember down here in Florida that at one point they were looking at Scott Frost and Chip Kelly for the hire Dan Mullen. I like Charbonnet, the running back. And look, I think this quarterback, Dorian Thomason-Robinson, could give LSU some trouble. They certainly look good against Hawaii at times, considering the competition with that. Guys, the aerial view of the Rose Bowl with that crowd was absolutely embarrassing. I'm sure you guys have probably seen that by now. It will be intriguing. It will be a game that a lot of people probably won't watch because of Georgia and Clemson, but I do think probably UCLA can play them well.
I got remote control.
Yeah, but that's right.
Yeah.
They just don't have the roster that LSU does.
Brent, you covered Mac Jones in high school. Did you see this meteoric rise to Heisman finalist to national champion quarterback to starter for Bill Belichick?
Look, what he has done is just nothing but phenomenal, frankly. But I still will go back to say one of the things in Mac's credit was he has been, how many people can say this? He played with Corky Rogers at the Bowl School, which is one of the greatest high school coaches in the state of Florida, maybe the best. And he learned a lot from that. And then he goes to Nick Saban. Now he's with Bill Belichick. I mean,
that's a master's degree.
It really is.
Think about that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And listen, guys, at some point after playing for those three guys, if Mac wants to do it, I think he'd be a heck of a coach.
Yeah, and you know you can handle being chewed out.
Yeah. You develop a pretty thick skin when you deal with that. But they're taking a chance. But I'll tell you this, and I don't care what level you're on, and people may not agree with this, but when you're smart and when you throw the ball accurately where they ain't, as far as the secondary is concerned, you put it right on the money, as he's capable of doing. you can play in that league for a long time, can't you?
Well, you have to look at who's in charge of the quarterback room in Alabama, because they have developed in the last 3 years or 4 years 3 unbelievable quarterbacks.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and I think that's a great indication of how much Nick Saban has grown in his look at the approach to the game.
There's one common denominator, because they've had a lot of turnover in that quarterback room as the coach.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. So and he realized a few years ago where this game was going, and it was going to be a quarterback game, and that's what he's done.
Brent, can't wait for the weekend.
Enjoy.
Man, it just absolutely unbelievable with what we've got in front of us. Just wish we could have it more often. I wish there were more SEC games on Thursday night and Sunday night. Discussion for another day. I think the league ought to take more advantage of those time schedules. But regardless, we're going to enjoy it immensely.
No doubt. Thank you. We appreciate it. That's Brent Beard, our friend down in Jacksonville, brought you in part by the good folks at Conway. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, and that wonderful tankless water heater. We're going to have a whole bunch of folks around my house this weekend. I'll never run out of hot water. I don't care if they're taking extra showers or if they're doing laundry. It doesn't matter, because I've got a tankless from Conway, and I never run out of hot water. And you know what? My MLGW bill's not going to go up that much, because these energy-saving models only heat the water you use. That's it. And you never have to worry about a tank bursting somewhere in your house, because there is no tank. This is modern technology, and it's the perfect time to buy, because John's going to give you now either one of these two deals. You get a tanked water heater with 12 months to pay interest-free, or he'll just give you $300 for the old technology you have, that ancient guzzler, the old tanked water heater. You can't beat it. What a deal. And you know you're going to get the Conway service, over 8,000 5-star reviews on Google. You just got to make the call. That's 901-384-3511, 384-3511. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric.
Isn't that some story about Mac Jones from really only got on the field in the 2019 season because of Tua's ugly injury, suffered down at Mississippi State against the Bullies, and came on, had a good rest that year, had one really poor pass, a flutter ball in the Iron Bowl that cost him. He had another interception, pick six, but that was just kind of a crazy carom. Then had the great bowl game, and then last year, and Dave, I voted for him for the Heisman, and my rationale was this. And you will never see another quarterback. You just have that blanket stat line that he had last year, and have it on a team that's contending, college football playoff type team. They'll never be denied the Heisman again. But it got on a roll last year for Devontae Smith. Everything Devontae Smith had would have been split if Jalen Waddle hadn't have gotten hurt.
Right.
Everything Mac Jones had, he would have had no matter who was out there at receiver.
Well, I mean, if we really sit and reflect, you take in the Waddle injury, Harris, Smith, and Mac Jones, there literally were 4 guys on that one team that could have been a Heisman Trophy winner. How many teams could ever say they had that on one side of the ball, that kind of skill talent?
But Waddle getting hurt won the Heisman for Devontae Smith, because he would have never racked up those numbers.
No.
But Mac Jones would have had them, because he was the guy, standing in the pocket making all the throws. And Brent touched on it, and you touched on it as well. What he does, you can stay around a long time in the NFL not throwing it to the other team.
Well, his story is outstanding. I did not know that his high school coach was, that kind of a builder of guys. So you're going from
that was Tebow's high school coach too.
What you guys have described as one of the great high school coaches in America, certainly in the state of Florida. Then you go to what I don't think anybody's going to dispute. He's the greatest college football coach of all time, in Nick Saban. And now you're going to what most people would consider the greatest football coach in the history of the National Football League.
That's a master's degree, and Belichick coaches the quarterbacks hard. There's that great NFL Football Life NFL special on the Patriots and on how he handled Tom Brady early when he was the 6th round, 199th pick out of Michigan, long before he was Tom Brady. And there's video of him. I mean, you can hear it. They have to bleep it out. I mean, he's cussing him. He's coaching him hard. And to Tom Brady's credit, he took it. And because he knew he was being handled by a master.
How much discussion do you think prior to the draft or even after the draft during these camps there have been between, and their friends, between Bill Belichick and Nick Saban just about Mac Jones?
That'd be fascinating. And nothing would surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if it was detailed, chronicled, deep conversations. Here's what you're getting in him, blah, 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 blah. Also wouldn't surprise me if, no, we don't really talk about that when we get around each other. It wouldn't shock me if that was the case.
I would be shocked if Bill didn't call up Nick and say, what can I expect from him in this kind of particular situation?
Well, Belichick, like Nick Saban, has said he loves captains. Nick Saban loves to recruit captains of their high school team. Bill Belichick loves captains from the college team. They love that kind of you were born and grown, and Mac Jones has that. I know this weekend we're going to watch a lot of football over the course of the football season, and Jason's Deli, they got you covered. They got you covered for a large party if you'd like to have it, a game-watching party. Save all the time and trouble. Let Jason's Deli do all the work. Locations at Park Place, Poplar and Highland, Cordova, and Olive Branch. It starts with breakfast. It goes to lunch. They finish with dinner. All the great breakfast foods, the hot breakfast choices, the breakfast sandwich boxes, the flatbread breakfast boxes, sunshine breakfast, hot wrap breakfast, breakfast pastries. Then you get to lunchtime, the manager special, the soup, the fresh fruit, the deluxe sandwiches, and then you get to dinner time with all the staples at Jason's Deli. In these locations, like Park Place, Olive Branch, Poplar and Highland, and Cordova, you can wrap it up with the complimentary ice cream. Go to jasonsdeli.com. Whether you need to feed 5 or 5,000, the experienced team at Jason's Deli, they can and they will deliver for you. They're ready for football season. Their commitment to variety, value, and quality ingredients means you can feel great about choosing Jason's Deli Catering for all 3 meals.
We take a quick time out. When we come back, we will turn our attention for a minute to the American Athletic Conference, and we will make some picks on 3 of those teams. Stick around.
Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy take you through lunch from 10 to 1 weekdays, only on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Need to sell your home? You're in luck because I buy houses. All you have to do is call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that PIN, 901-406-1101, or just save it in your phone. Bill at I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses buys houses in any area, in any condition, at any time, as simple as that. I Buy Houses is guaranteed to close in 5 days. So if you need your cash fast, just call Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. Has your house been on the market? Were you just tired of renters? Or is it just time to start over? Well, avoid repairing, cleaning, painting, and prepping your house. Just pick up the phone and call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses. If you're in Southwind, South Memphis, North Mississippi, North Memphis, Collierville, if you can hear this, just call my friend Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101.
At Boost Mobile, we're giving you a free phone when you switch and all the power that comes with it. The power to access everything humanity has to offer. The power to connect with anyone in the world. The power to order tacos. Get a free Samsung Galaxy A32 5G when you switch to America's largest 5G network. Information, communication, tacos. Now that's power. More power to save. Boost Mobile. Free phone limited to new customers and 1 per line. Additional restrictions apply. See boostmobile.com for details.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Halfway home on this glorious Tuesday afternoon. Wolo and Stats with you, about to make some American Athletic Conference predictions. A couple of these teams some folks have them doing really, really well. We'll get to our thoughts on all of that momentarily. I'll let you know the title sponsor for this hour of the program. It's Homer, and it's Genesis. Both are in Olive Branch, right there at Craft Road and Highway 78, right on the corner there. You just sort of turn left, go over the highway. There you will see this fantastic home to Hyundais and to the luxury car of Hyundai Genesis. And I just think high performance both ways. You can't beat the ride that you're going to get in the Genesis car. And they got G70s, G80s, G90s. They got them on the lot. You can buy them today. You really could. And you got to buy them, and you'll meet great people there. Rick Fink, you'll meet just all the wonderful guys in finance like John Burnside, David Richardson. You'll meet maintenance guys. They'll give you the whole tour. They've been together for 14 years, making sure that everybody who walks out of there gets this terrific experience. You're buying a new car. I mean, there's not many better days than that. And they make that day a special day for you. All you got to do is get on Lamar and know when you get there the product is fantastic and durable, because you're going to get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty on every new car, Hyundai or Genesis. And on top of that, that service I was talking about, that group that's been together, they give you a 3-year, 36,000-mile maintenance package to make sure your car runs at peak efficiency and lasts forever. They're just a great team. Please go see for yourself. Go check it out. Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. So where would you like to start? There are 3 teams that we are doing today in the American, and they are Navy, and they are Tulsa, and they are Tulane. Tulsa and Tulane are going to be pretty good. I'm not so sure about Navy. So you want to start there?
I will start with Navy, and I'll tell you, Gabe Kuhn has the Naval Academy going 2-10.
I don't have them much better. I have them.
I don't either.
3-9, 2-6.
That's exactly what I have
in league play. So I have their wins, and we'll know if we're exactly alike. I've got them beating the Air Force, and I've got them beating East Carolina.
I do not.
I've got them beating East Carolina. I got them beating at Temple. So they finish strong. Normally a Niumatalolo team does end up figuring it all out at the end, but they don't have as much talent. They haven't had a good quarterback since William Perry. Was that it? It's not William Perry. What was the great
Malcolm
guy?
Perry.
Malcolm Perry, that won the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Malcolm
I've got
Perry,
Navy winning 3. Only wins at Tulsa, against East Carolina, and against Temple, and not in the Army-Navy game. I have Army winning that game, so 3-9, 2-6. Bryant?
I have them with 3 wins. I have them beating Air Force. I have them beating East Carolina. I have them beating Temple.
So you and
Bruce
I
Marshall's
are
lock
exactly
of the
alike.
year for Vegas overs is the season over win total for Air Force.
Which is?
I think 6.5. I think.
And
Might be less than that.
And he's got that as the over?
He likes their season over is one of his really strong preseason plays.
So they got to get to 7.
I think it's 6.5. I'll have to look, but
All right.
whatever it is, he likes the over and the win total. Arkansas State their season win total 3.5.
Arkansas
in
State.
Vegas.
Wow. I saw Big Game Boomers, which you sent out on Twitter, on the ceiling and floor. I think they had them as a 4 ceiling, so it's in the same ballpark. So I'm going to go to Tulsa because I think Tulsa's a really good team. I think that coach has done a remarkable job there. I mean, that is not an easy school to get into. It really isn't, and I don't think they're quite like. What was the great line? Whoever said it was that they want to be like Harvard every day of the week, but Alabama on Saturday when they're talking about Stanford football. I think Tulsa.
Yeah, Tulsa is a great oil engineering school.
Oh man,
it is.
It is hard to get in there. The average ACT is like, I want to say it's 29 or 30. Maybe it's even 31.
And the enrollment's T9.
No,
it's really
not.
small.
It is the second smallest FBS school behind only Rice, which is another.
It's amazing how they max out, how they do in athletics, what they get out of basketball and football. I don't think they have played baseball in a long time. At one time, they were formidable in baseball a long time ago. Now I have Tulsa 3-9.
Wow.
Now it wins Cal Davis, and I'm not so sure about Cal Davis on Thursday night, but I'll give them that one. I'll give them a win at USF and a win over Temple.
Man.
That's it. Lose to Oklahoma State, Ohio State, lose to Arkansas State, Houston, Tigers, even to Navy.
I think Big Game Boomer there, I think they had their ceiling at like 10 games. So that is a far departure. I think they're going to beat UC Davis. That's a home game. I think I've gone crazy here. I think they're going to beat Oklahoma State. I think they are a good team. I think they're going to beat Oklahoma State. They're going to lose at Ohio State. They're going to beat Arkansas State. They're going to beat Houston. It's at home. They're going to beat Memphis at home because Memphis has a hard time beating Tulsa there. The one year where everything went right, remember they played the big game
2 years ago.
For game day. I mean, that was just crazy with the way the kicker gave that game away. They're going to beat USF. They're going to beat Navy. They're going to lose at Cincinnati. They're going to lose at Tulane. Little bump in the road, beat Temple, and lose at SMU. I've got them 8-4, and I've got them 5-3 in the league.
I have them at 5-7. I'll say Tulsa has a difficult non-conference schedule. I have them beating UC Davis. I have them beating Arkansas State. I have them beating USF, Navy, and Temple.
So a lot similar to
So you kind of split the difference between us.
Yeah. That is really interesting. And then Tulane, there are plenty of people really high on Tulane. I have them as pretty well average. I got them 6-6, 4-4 in the league. I got them losing to Oklahoma, and now they got to play that game instead of at the home field. They got to go and play them in Norman. They're going to beat Morgan State. They're going to lose in Oxford when you got that game, third week of the season. They'll beat UAB. They will beat East Carolina on the road. They'll beat Houston. They'll lose at SMU and Cincinnati and UCF. They'll beat Tulsa. They'll beat USF. And then they'll lose final game of the year to Memphis. 6-6, 4-4.
I'm 7-5 for Tulsa or Tulane, and it could bounce around a bunch of different ways. They could. I have them beating UAB. They very easily could lose that one. And win somewhere else, like potentially at SMU or vice versa. But here we go. I got a loss to Oklahoma, a win over Morgan State, loss to Ole Miss, wins over UAB, East Carolina, and Houston. Then open date, loss at SMU, loss to Cincinnati. That's 2 tough league games in a row. Make it 3 with a loss to Central Florida. They win against Tulsa. They win against South Florida. And the first Tiger loss I have all year, Tulane, last game of the year in Memphis, beats the Tigers.
Wow.
7-5, 5-3 in the league.
I've got them at 6-6. I think me and Dave, we might be identical yet again. I've got them beating Morgan State. I've got them beating UAB, Houston.
At East Carolina?
Yes, at East Carolina, at Houston, and then at Tulsa and against Tulsa and against USF.
Tulane, the hardest one to figure so far of all the AAC, SEC picks.
Well, they run that little funky offense, and I don't think they're quite as deep as most teams as the upper-tier teams. They got a great quarterback. I don't think their defensive line is quite as good as it was. If Memphis played them in New Orleans, I would worry. Memphis has handled them, and really kind of easily, when they've played at the Liberty Bowl. So we will definitely see about all of that. But that is what we've got. So we really haven't had, at this point, with the 6 teams that we have done in the American, I don't know we've had anybody. I think your best record is Tulane at this point. Is that accurate?
We had a lot of disagreement on Tulsa, and a little on Tulane, and they're always hard to figure. Last year, Tulsa played in the American Championship game, and then that bowl game was pitiful.
Yeah, they had a really good defense last year, but the main guy, Collins was his name, something with a Z, Xavier Collins. He's gone. He got drafted. He's gone. They also lost a defensive lineman too. So I don't know that they'll be quite as good as they were, but normally they are well coached.
I'm going to pull a Lee Corso on Thursday night. Tulsa's going to win over Cal Davis, but close. Cal Davis, big-time FCS team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some of these FCS teams, Memphis playing Nichols, you mentioned earlier in the program. Nichols is ranked 24th in the country. So
I think the Tigers win. I think the margin ends up looking rather comfortable, but I think with 6 minutes in the third quarter, it might be closer than most would think it would be or should be.
This is
and
terrible.
That's okay.
I have not looked at the line in that game yet.
It's not out yet because there's so much quarterback question around the Tigers and FCS against FBS. Yeah. That's usually a late line.
Yeah, sure is. This portion of our program is brought to you by James Davis Men's Store in the Laurelwood Shopping Center, home of the Stance system. So I got a big weekend coming up, and I decided I'm going crazy, folks. Go crazy. I went and got some Stance. I actually got a Stance shirt this time. I said, can they do the Stance as an outside shirt? Because, my stature, my height, they don't make too many out shirts for short guys. But if you get a Stance, fits perfect. It's unbelievable. This system, 2 measurements for the shirt, and you get 2 weeks later at a very reasonable price, a custom fit shirt that fits like it's a glove. Same thing with pants now. 3 measurements, same thing, reasonable price, takes about 2.5 weeks. It used to be a week, but Stance have become so popular that it takes a little bit longer. I mean, this system has taken America by storm. And the only place you can get the Stance shirts or the Stance pants, well, that is simply James Davis Men's Store. It's the only men's store in Memphis that carries the Stance perfect fit system. And they've got the Peter Millars, and they've got every new fashion, and all the fall stuff's coming in. There was a clearance sale, and I think it's almost all gone now for the summer. But go check. You go see Rob Joyner. He'll take care of you. All the crew have been there for a long, long time. You just can't beat the best men's store in all of Memphis in the Laurelwood Shopping Center. That would be James Davis. We're back in a minute. We'll put a wrap on this second hour of Sports Time on Sports 56.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes from Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, everyone. This is Greg Aston for FanDuel. One of the things I love about betting on FanDuel Sportsbook is you get more than one shot. Right now, new and existing users can get up to $25 back in site credit each day. Just place a minimum 5-leg baseball parlay, and if it falls 1 leg short, you get up to $25 back with parlay insurance. There is a reason FanDuel Sportsbook is America's #1 sportsbook. In addition to the parlay insurance, if you haven't tried FanDuel Sportsbook yet, new users can place your first bet risk-free. New users get up to $1,000 back in site credit if your first bet doesn't win. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code GASMAN to get in on the action. You must be 21 or over and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only for risk-free bet. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max refund $25 per game. Restrictions do apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. If you have a gambling problem, call Tennessee Redline at 1-800-889-9789.
It's finally time to get out of the house. So make sure you stop by Family Leisure with great prices on in-stock and incoming products. Keep the kids active with play gyms, in stock, ready for delivery. And by the way, installation from the pros, I always recommend that. Markdowns on remaining game room products and those beautiful massage chairs. And the hot tubs, they're going fast. Get out of the house and get to Family Leisure. Wooden Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
Southern Airways, we fly to make your day.
Memphis's hometown airline, Southern Airways, wants you to beat the Mid-South Heat and head to the Emerald Coast. Southern is the easy and convenient way for Memphians to get to Destin. Want to spend some time on the lake instead? Fly over the interstate traffic and bypass any delays and take one of Southern's flights to Hot Springs, Arkansas. Short flights and popular regional destinations like Arkansas's festival city of El Dorado and Harrison, Arkansas, the gateway to Branson, each have daily nonstop flight options from Southern Airways out of Memphis. Flying Southern is easy with no TSA screening hassles and free parking at Signature Flight Support. So if you're planning a quick weekend getaway, be sure to fly Southern Airways. Visit iflysouthern.com to reserve your seats today.
At Southern Airways, we fly to make your day.
It's hot outside and your air conditioner just quit. Quick, who do you call? Automatic Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing, of course, with 24-hour emergency service available. Automatic understands your house is unique, so they work fast to find the right solution for your family's comfort and budget needs. And with financing available and payments as low as $75 a month, it's never been easier to make your home comfortable. Call 363-4636 or go online to itsautomatic.com. Turn to the experts at Automatic Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Cruising through a sunny, delightful Tuesday afternoon. Brad, I'm going to give you a chance, if you would like, to sort of take it back. The harsh thoughts and words that you spoke approximately 24 hours ago.
On what subject?
On a certain baseball pitcher taking the mound in your uniform that gave you 6 1/3 really, really good innings last night. 1 hit.
Did his check clear?
I don't know. I'm not privy to that.
First and 15th, he gets a check for doing what he's supposed to go out there and do.
He struck out 5, only allowed 1 hit in that 6 1/3 innings.
I said it's like pulling for A.J. Przinsky. I do it, but it's hard.
All I can say,
Bobby Bonilla is a Cardinal.
It was incredibly important to your team yesterday.
How important?
How important? If you go to the wild card right now, you're 2.5 games behind the Reds. The Padres.
One back in the all-important loss column. Rained out tonight. Be a doubleheader, I think, tomorrow. One back in the loss column. That's all that matters. You're going to make up the games if they matter.
So let me ask you this. When you're chasing and you're going to play a doubleheader and there are only 7 innings, is that to your advantage or disadvantage?
That's a great question.
That's why I asked.
I would think the team that has the superiority over 130 games is better built for 14 innings of baseball than the team for 9 innings.
I just think that the team that's got the best bullpen.
I mean, we got a pretty good sample size of, to date, Cincinnati's better.
Yeah.
Now, they could have a epic collapse in September, and that's what it's going to take.
Yeah.
Did you see the box score in St. Pete last night?
No, how many? How many fans?
6,700.
No way. Are you serious?
Promise. We would have drawn 6,700 at AutoZone Park for the Red Sox and the Rays.
I agree with that. Now, I got to ask you this.
Clarksville, Tennessee would have had 6,700 people last night for that.
If it's
that's not just where the stadium is. They have sent the message loud and clear. They're not fans of that team. You would find them at some point.
Well, we have to ask
and play in the Red Sox.
We really.
I don't have to ask TJ tomorrow. 6,700 speaks loud and clear.
That is really sort of embarrassing because I'll be honest. I mean, I didn't even see the crowd, but I know if they said 6,700, there were probably 4,000 there.
It's been some epic fibbing at AutoZone Park this year. Last Tuesday night on my way back from football practice, I stopped. I saw you on Thursday night, didn't I? Tuesday night, they announced the crowd at 1,500. Now, it was a Tuesday night after, a Monday off and 6 games before that, and not a very good team, and back to school, and it was real hot. There's all those good reasons. Announced crowd at 3rd and Union. 1,500 people. If I dedicated myself to it, I think I could have hand counted them by the 5th inning.
Well, I will tell you, I was there Sunday to do a soccer game. And, for those that don't know, the away games that 901 FC has are, we're doing off the TV monitor in the press box. And so I was there, and I watched the first part of that baseball game until I had to go to work doing soccer. And this is Sunday. Now, we know Friday and Saturday nights, that's when the Redbirds draw.
Really good crowds.
Sunday, they don't draw very well. I'm going to tell you, Brett, there were not 1,000 people in the ballpark on Sunday. Not 1,000.
No.
And I can remember some Sundays going to baseball games, even at the old Timmy Mack, where those were good crowds.
Real good crowds.
I don't know what's happened to the Sunday baseball crowd, but and I've been told this has been eroding for quite a while now. But man, there was nobody there. I was really shocked at how few.
The erosion has been for a while now, but I'll write this year off to look. Just had to get it in. Short sprint. Season starts in May. COVID, man, whatever. Next year, I want to see a lot more effort from the Redbirds brass of trying to put on a lot better display than they have this year. I'll write this year off, but next year,
I think that's fair because of COVID and now the
Delta
Delta variant. I really do think that is true. I would like to know, and I don't know the answer to this. If somebody can tell us that was at the James Taylor Jackson Brown concert at FedEx Forum a few Sundays ago, text us on the AutoZone text line. 901-360-8255. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Hit our AutoZone text line, 360-8255, and let me know if you were there. Was that pretty well to capacity, or was that – because I saw a lot of last-second advertising, which made me believe that ticket sales were not as brisk as they normally would be. So it may be sort of a Memphis caution kind of a thing.
Well,
I really don't know.
Dave, was so far since we've been able to go back, whether it was muted with limited, whether it was increased a little bit at playoff time, whether it's the Redbirds, whether it's Memphis 901, concerts, we collectively have not gone back. So, and Saturday, first Tiger game, then next week Southern Heritage Classic, and then Tiger basketball rolling around. And basketball could have a different dynamic this year, being indoors with more variant scares, cold and flu, respiratory illness season. I mean, when are we going to knock the door down to go back?
I don't know. I
at one time the answer to that was whenever the vaccines comes out.
Well, now we're talking boosters and third shots and.
I saw a study today out of Israel, and they're always ahead of us on really anything, and they're now thinking that one of the shots after the second one, 27% effective rate. That's nothing.
No, because when we first took it.
94.
It was 94.
It was the miracle.
96%
it was the
efficacy.
Yeah, it was the panacea of all time. Big Pharma wouldn't fib to us, would they?
True. I will tell you this. I'm going to go get the third shot whenever they let me get the third shot because I know it
I am
increases
too.
my chances of not getting a bad reaction if I get it. And
I am too. And guess what you can get ready for? The 4th shot and the 5th shot and the 6th shot.
Hey, if that keeps me with the ability to go out, to go to games, to go to restaurants, to go to plays, to go to concerts.
But it wasn't packaged like that. It was packaged as this is you're not going to get it. Now it's being packaged as it's going to reduce any chance of hospitalization or fatality.
Yeah. I think the first thing that has to happen is you have to have higher rates of vaccination for it to be totally as effective.
Israel was almost 100%.
Well, they were. So that does worry you, and they are going back, I know, to get a 3rd shot. And maybe people will have to change. I'll be honest with you. I was almost shocked when I read the story the other day that these businessmen are putting $12 million into Clark Tower. Now, Clark Tower, I happen to like because I work out there. And I'm applauding their effort. But $12 million into office space when people may not be going back to offices, that seemed weird to me.
I get this from a friend of ours that says high school football attendance has been outstanding. The one high school football game I went to at Houston High, it was packed, and it was an outstanding crowd for Houston and Ridgeway.
That's good. I've yet to have the chance to go to a high school football game. I will, though, sometime soon. I can tell you that. This portion of the show brought to you by Poppy's Pills. That's the new Pilsner from our good friends at Grind City Brewing. Just what the doctor ordered. Well, sometimes you're going to come across a beer so smooth and so crushable, it cures whatever ails you. And I promise you take 2 of these pills. That's for Pilsner. And we guarantee you'll be calling for more. It's for those of you who like a little lighter beer. It's great at grill outs. It's great when you get out of the swimming pool. It's incredible after a hot round of golf. It's the light beer drinker's perfection, and it took 6 years to perfect it. They worked on it that hard. They've got it now, and you can get it not just at Grind City Brewery, but you can get it in liquor stores, and you can get it in Kroger's. You'll love it. Poppy's Pills, the new Pilsner that is just what the doctor ordered. Back in just a minute, we've got our number 3, and Beau Marchant leads us off.
I'm Brian Elder. The great Kimmons Wilson of Holiday Inn had a slogan: the best surprise is no surprise. And that's so true. When I sit at your kitchen table, you're going to understand exactly what I'm going to do to your roof. From the underlayment to the hip shingles and ventilation, the flashing, the wood repairs, the cleanup, the crew safety, the warranty. It's amazing how many customers sign contracts being told none of that stuff. But the best surprise is no surprise. Insurance claims. Talk to your friends. More and more claims are being rejected, and only experienced claims specialists are getting those terrible decisions overturned. So if you don't hire me, please hire someone to manage the process with the experience to see it through. The best surprise is no surprise. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Hi, I'm Tito Beveridge, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. In 1997, I started the first micro distillery in the state of Texas with my dog, Dog Joe, at my side. We're still working with dogs out at the distillery after all these years. Learn more about how dogs are a part of life here at Tito's Handmade Vodka at vodkafordogpeople.com. Tito's Handmade Vodka is made from corn and naturally gluten-free. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight, exclusively FedEx. And we put them in nice packaging. We don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together, so the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948. At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Upgrade your commute at Acura of Memphis. Seize the thrill and test drive one of our award-winning models, each packed with cutting-edge technology, luxurious amenities, and a driving experience that's sure to awaken your inner self. Driving shouldn't be a chore, it should be an adventure. Advance your drive today, shop our aggressive lease and finance options now, luxury is waiting at Acura of Memphis, or shop online 24/7, visit AcuraofMemphis.com.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
College football, it's back this week, and Brett Norsworthy here for FanDuel. And at FanDuel Sportsbook, you can have a lot of excitement, a lot of fun in Week 1. Right now, all customers, everybody, gets a risk-free bet on any Week 1 game. Just pick the game out you like. I love Arkansas over Rice. First time they will have played since the old Southwest Conference days. Arkansas used to always dominate that then. I think they will now. Place any Week 1 bet and get a refund in site credit if you don't win. Easy to use, safe and secure. #1 rated sportsbook app in America by a mile, and fast payouts. Just open the FanDuel Sportsbook app to get started. New to FanDuel Sportsbook, sign up with promo code CASH to also get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. That's promo code CASH. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max refund $10 unless otherwise indicated. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. Bo Marchant from collegetopro.com with us to talk the NFL after I tell you about the title sponsor of this hour. Every day they're the sponsor of this hour, and we appreciate it. It's DeSoto Auto Sales, online at DeSotoAutoSales.com, and they are at 5704 Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. Go online and check out all the beautiful cars and look at all the referrals at DeSotoAutoSales.com. All the cars test-driven, all thoroughly checked out bumper to bumper, unlimited inventory, every make, every model. No shortcuts taken at DeSoto Auto Sales. When you walk in, you're treated like family by kind, courteous employees, laid-back atmosphere, no high-pressure sales, but they care about your time, and they want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience. They know we live in a world today that time really matters. That's why you find the car you want, test drive that car, paperwork completed, and you're out of there in less than an hour, 45 minutes. It's a guarantee. It's that simple. At DeSoto Auto Sales, 662-890-7184. Come on down to Goodman Road for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales.
We got a text on the First Bank, on the AutoZone text line, getting the zone, AutoZone. Went to a Styx concert in mid-June. it was packed. So nobody.
Mid-June wasn't the Delta variant scare time.
Right. Well, that's true. And nobody let me know at this point. Again, you can get us on the AutoZone text line at 901-360-8255 if you went to see James Taylor and Jackson Brown.
Probably needed to be vaccinated in the day to go to a Styx concert.
Well, I don't
Just
know if
nothing else. The strobe light and the siren.
Yeah, penicillin went a long way in those days.
I was allergic to it, Dave, so I've always had to fight that.
That was a tough break for you, my friend.
It sure was.
tough break for you.
If lava soap and penicillin can't get rid of it, it was tough.
Yeah. As always, we love on Tuesday afternoons sort of to wind our way through the day, chat with our good friend from collegepro.com, Bo Marchant. And Bo, obviously it is tough sledding for the New Orleans Saints. They got a game supposed to be at home against Green Bay, and you know those crowds in the Dome. What an advantage that is for the New Orleans Saints. They're obviously not going to be able to have that. Who knows what power will be on or how many people will be in New Orleans when they kick it off in a couple of weeks. We had a great person on the AutoZone text line who said they ought to do that. They ought to play that game actually in Tuscaloosa because it'll seat 100,000 and folks from New Orleans will be able to get to that really easily.
Folks from New Orleans aren't going anywhere right now.
No, well, or they're all scattered around, and usually they're scattered around the South. So maybe that would be a little easier for them. I'm not sure. Bo, what do you think will happen now with the Saints and where they'll play home games?
You know what? I don't know. I mean, I've been trying to keep up on that. And, prayers to everybody in that whole situation, and hopefully they can make it through as unscathed as possible. In terms of these two teams facing off in week one, as you guys mentioned, that is a huge, advantage of, the Saints being there in New Orleans and playing those home games. I don't know where they're going to end up playing. I don't know if there's actually been a site that has been, said yet, and who knows how long. I know I saw one report that came out that they could be, out of a home for at least a month. And that plays a big part in terms of, like you guys mentioned, home game, especially that atmosphere in New Orleans. I mean, that's a great home atmosphere, and to be missing it does not help them. But I think even those players with family, friends, just being part of the community, they want to win. But at the end of the day, I think just as long as they can play somewhere and just get back to making sure that the family's safe and whatnot, I think that will probably be the biggest thing. And, I saw, Leonard Fournette donated $100,000.
Yeah, I saw that too.
She donated $1 million to the city. So it's just nice to see everybody. And I don't want to get off topic, guys, but last week we were so busy and I forgot to mention, I just don't want to forget to mention it. And I know he was a Memphis, legend, but Danton Bartow, his passing, I just wanted to acknowledge, just the influence and how much his contribution to the game of football itself. I forgot to mention that last week, but I just wanted to make sure that I was able to say that on the air.
Thank you, Bo. We really appreciate that. But Danton was a friend of ours. Danton, I did his game when Memphis beat USC at the Coliseum, and he is to this day the number one tackler in the history of the school. Since you bring this up, they will honor him with a moment of silence prior to the Tigers game against Mississippi State on September the 18th. So there will be a moment to honor Danton at the Tiger football game with Mississippi State, third weekend of the month.
I bet you saw him around when he was with the Rams, and had really had crafted a great career scouting for the Rams. But for the Saints, I think it's going to be a while before they play a home game there. And as we all have said, it is a decided home field advantage. But for those players and how displaced they are and worrying about family back there and belongings back there, Sean Payton's built for a lot, and he had made it through the preseason and found, I think, Jameis Winston. He may have won the quarterback job in New Orleans by a bigger margin than Mac Jones did in New England.
It's possible. I think Mac Jones is obviously played to a level where Belichick feels comfortable him leading the Patriots. And I also think it's a little bit of where Cam Newton is in his career. Remember, he was signed last June. 3 months into free agency. So the Patriots basically went through mini camp, they went through OTAs, and then the staff, they realized with Jarrett Stidham and Brian Hoyer on the roster that, you know what, we need some help. And then they went out and they signed Cam Newton. Rushing the ball, he was fantastic, but, the passing game was non-existent. Josh McDaniels did a fabulous job of creating an offense that could, I guess get the last ounces of what Cam Newton had in terms of him playing the quarterback position, but running the football. But at the end of the day, Mac Jones he's delivered. He's kind of just carrying, and I've mentioned so many times, that championship game, the ankle, the way he played, he just, he's really carried himself in a way that kind of, I think, endeared him to those. And not that Cam Newton didn't, Cam Newton is at that point in his career where I think it's kind of passed him by. And I think him being that late in free agency last year, the way he played, absent of just basically passing the football. He put it this way, he threw 8 touchdowns last year. Mike Glennon for the Jacksonville Jaguars threw 7 touchdowns in 5 games. Cam played 15, and he was only the muster up 8. So, like I said, the game was kind of passing by in terms that he just lost his physical tools. And not against Cam. One of the better guys we've seen. We'll always remember his MVP season when the Panthers went 15-1 and they came up short in the Super Bowl. Nothing to take away from him. Fantastic quarterback, but sometimes you can last a little bit longer, or sometimes you're robbed of what makes you great a little bit sooner than others. And I think that is the case for Cam Newton.
Were you though surprised that they just let him go totally? Now you have no insurance really. You got this rookie who we think is going to be outstanding. He certainly was in a collegiate uniform. We just talked a little bit earlier about his history. He played for one of the great high school coaches in America down in Florida. He played for the greatest of all time in Nick Saban at Alabama. Now he's going to play for maybe the greatest of all time in the NFL. But he's a rookie. I'm a little shocked. Not that he won the job, but that they just let Cam go.
Yeah, I was surprised when they said they did not try to shop him. They said that, they just released him. They weren't looking for a trade partner. And, I don't know if they did that. I doubt Bill Belichick, because he doesn't pay favors to do anybody any favors. he's pretty cutthroat when it comes to releases and waiving trades. Yeah, exactly. So, with Cam, I just think they felt, they might not get anything for him and just move on. And, every quarterback, every staff is going to have a different perspective. We know what the Bears, they want to start out with Andy Dalton, even though Justin Fields has looked very well. We know what's going on with San Francisco, with Garoppolo, Trey Lance. There's so many scenarios. Trevor Lawrence, that was his job from the day he was signed, number 1 pick, regardless of how he looked. You just know Meyer wasn't going in any other direction, and they jettisoned off, Gardner Minshew to the Eagles. I did think I go back to, when I read the dynasty about the Patriots, Belichick wanted to play Brady his rookie year. That is after Drew Bledsoe signed the largest contract in the history of the league at that time. So Belichick is not afraid to make that move, and I was surprised. But when I think about that history and the way Belichick thinks, if you're the best option for the Patriots to win football games, Belichick does it. He does it better than anybody. He does it. He thinks it's the best decision. And at the end of the day, if Cam's still on the street, I'm sure he would be welcomed with, open arms back to the Patriots. And, there was no animosity to him being released. It was just one of those things. It's part of the business. And I'm sure Cam would come back if there was a rash of injuries where they said, hey, you know what, we need this veteran guy back. But at the end of the day, I think it serves of how Mac Jones has played and performed this preseason. And I think it also says how much Cam Newton has kind of taken a step back from the guy that we remember as being one of the best quarterbacks over the last decade.
Do you think there was any worry at all about his attitude in the locker room once he didn't get the gig?
No, I think more rumblings would have come out about that. Cam has a good personality. We've never heard anything, negative about him being a guy in the locker room that's, selfish or not a leader. People can make what they want of everything else that all players do. They want, guys get labeled because they do something, they dress a certain way on social media, but now they're not good in the locker room. I've never heard anything, and I know I should say I have insiders with the Panthers, but I knew a couple guys pretty well during his time when he was in Carolina, and they spoke nothing but highly of Cam. And if there was any negative thing about Cam Newton, was just his body not being able to kind of remain at 100% where he could be the guy that he was drafted to be when he came out of Auburn as the number 1 pick. So I don't think that, but it was just his time.
I think it's hard to ask a former league MVP to be a backup to a rookie, and they didn't put him in that position. All right, AFC pick time. Bo, fire away.
All right, what are we doing? Seeds, divisions? What are we doing first?
All of it.
All right. I guess the AFC East. I got the Bills winning the division. I got the Patriots as a wild card. And I got the Dolphins, and then I have the Jets finishing last in the AFC.
All right, you want me to go?
Go ahead.
Well, okay. I've got I got Buffalo, New England, Miami, and the Jets.
Same. Bryant?
I'm the same, too.
Okay. Bo in the North.
The North, I got Cleveland winning the division. I got the Ravens as a wild card. I got the Steelers, and then the Bengals.
Ditto. Copy and paste.
Ditto.
Wow. Wow. All right, in the South.
All right, I'm going to go a little different, I think, here in the South. I have the Colts winning the division. I have the Titans missing the playoffs. I have the Jags, and then the Texans.
I have Tennessee winning it. Indy second. Jacksonville with Trevor. That'll be Trevor Tremors in North Florida, and then Houston, because they're probably the worst team in the league.
I'm with Dave. Yeah. Titans first, and I'll tell you now, I have the Titans going to the Super Bowl.
Wow.
So I definitely have them making the playoffs. Titans 1, Indy 2, Jacks 3, Houston 4. Bryant?
I'm telling you, I'm not cheating off of you, but I'm the exact same.
You've been copying me every time.
In the West.
I got the Chiefs winning the division. I have the Chargers as the wild card. And then I got the Broncos, very close but not making it. And then the Las Vegas Raiders finishing last.
I've got it, Kansas City with the Chargers, and as the wild card, I have Vegas and Denver coming up, bringing up the rear.
I have Kansas City, Las Vegas Raiders, Chargers, then Denver, and my wild cards are Baltimore, New England, and Pittsburgh. Bryant?
Wow.
I've got the Chiefs, Chargers, Raiders, Broncos.
Chiefs, Chargers, Raiders, Broncos.
So give me an AFC championship game, Bo.
I'm going to make this kind of easy but kind of boring. I'm going to go with Buffalo and the Chiefs. I think they are the two best teams in the AFC, and I know we saw it last year, but I think those two teams go back. And real quick, the Chiefs are the only team in the last 5 years to make the playoffs every single year, and they actually started in 2015, so they continue the trend. So I think they're the hot hand. Buffalo's been there the last 2 years, and I think I have the division winners as Chiefs, Buffalo, Cleveland, Colts. I have the wild cards as the Ravens, Pats, and Chargers.
I have Buffalo and Kansas City in the AFC Championship as well. And I have Baltimore, the Chargers, and the Steelers as my wild cards.
Oh.
Well, my AFC Championship game, my seeds are Tennessee 1, Kansas City 2, Cleveland 3, Buffalo 4, and then the 3 wild cards, Baltimore, New England, Pittsburgh. I'm big on Tennessee, obviously, to be the 1 seed. In my AFC Championship game, after an upset of a 3 over a 2, Cleveland has to go to Nashville. They lose in Nashville. Browns-Titans AFC Championship game. Titans win it, riding Derrick Henry to back-to-back 2,000-yard years, 17th game. It'll even be easier for him, and he's the league MVP. Bryant?
I've got the championship game, the Bills and the Chiefs. My playoffs is Chiefs, Bills, Titans, Browns as the top 4, and then Ravens, Chargers, and Colts as the wild cards.
So I've got in the semis, I got Buffalo and Cleveland, Kansas City and the Chargers. Buffalo taking on Kansas City. Kansas City's the winner. The coach is Andy Reid. The MVP is Patrick Mahomes. And the rookie of the year from your Pittsburgh Steelers, Bo, Najee
Harris.
Nice. Who's your rookie of the year, Bo? That's a good pick, Dave.
I'm going to duplicate what Dave said. I'm going to go with the Alabama running back and say Najee Harris is the rookie of the year. And then coach of the year, he's only been coach of the year 3 times, but I think as they resurge back towards prominence, I think those voters are going to recognize how great and important he is. So I'm going to give Bill Belichick his 4th coach of the year after missing the playoffs. Wow. Him and his rookie quarterback. They're going to be the talk of the town as long as they're successful, and I assume they would be. So I'm going Bill Belichick. And then MVP, I think Josh Allen is going to squeak past Patrick Mahomes and earn that title.
Derrick Henry, I said earlier, MVP. I love your Bill Belichick. I didn't go that far. I went Kevin Stefanski with my Browns as coach of the year, and I'm torn on rookie of the year. I woke up thinking Bama, and it wasn't Najee Harris. I was thinking Jalen Waddle, but can he separate himself on that team? Is his quarterback good enough? And it's going to be Tua versus Mac Jones week 1, and then with the early morning news, AFC rookie of the year, Mac Jones.
Nice.
Okay.
I could see it.
I could see it too.
My MVP, Josh Allen. Coach of the year, Mike Vrabel. And rookie of the year, Najee Harris.
Wow.
I love the running back love. I got a MVP, and y'all have a rookie of the year at running back. Remember those guys?
Yeah.
Running backs used to be important, didn't they, Bo? Especially in Pittsburgh. Fella named Franco, pretty good, wasn't he?
Yes, he was, and that's why they're going back to the bread and butter. They know that they got to run that football. So no Benny Snell, no McFarland.
I'm not going to be around next Tuesday, so I'm just letting you know right now that the rookie of the year in the NFC is going to be Justin Fields. Just remember that you heard it here.
Might be mine too. And if he can do that, if he's rookie of the year, the Bears punch a playoff ticket.
Oh, the Bears I have as a wild card, just so you know.
Very interesting.
Bears still play defense. Bears have some healthy running backs back. Come on.
Bo, we'll do NFC next week. There'll be a lot of cuts and a lot of players picked up off the waiver wire this week, and we'll keep our eye on New Orleans and everything impacting the Saints.
And again, prayers to everybody out there, and it's under the Ida path. It's never a good time, but again, these teams, the one thing, and we know that sports, hopefully the Saints can play somewhere close to home, because any fans who are capable, regardless of how life goes, it's always nice to get away and have sports be that activity that kind of takes you away from everything.
Got to be that escape.
Don't want to, it got to be that escape. And Brett, I'm going to text you when we hang up, because I have Belichick, and right underneath I had Stefanski when I was doing my notes.
I'll text you back. I had Stefanski, and right under it I had Belichick. I almost picked the Patriots to win the division.
Yeah, they're going to be right there. And you know what it is? With the Browns being where they're at, if they get hot and they do win the division and everything unfolds that way, it's going to be hard for Stefanski not to be that guy. But I think with the rookie quarterback and Mac Jones, and if the Patriots have success, I think we'll just again begin to talk about what a genius Bill Belichick is. Not only does he get rid of Cam Newton on cut day, he says, you know what, I'm giving the Kings the keys to this dynasty, the Patriots dynasty, to this Alabama rookie. I just think it'll resonate with the voters who put this all together.
Let me just ask you this. What happens if he gets hurt?
They probably go back and try to get Cam Newton.
If you know when he gets hurt, please tell me when it's going to happen.
I don't know.
That could be for any of them.
I don't know. I'm just saying, a rookie, and he got hurt last year, didn't he? He had a bad ankle, didn't he, for a period of time there?
No.
Yeah. Well, that's anyone. We saw Jay Cutler was about to go into the Fox booth, and then Ryan Tannehill tears his ACL, and then Jay Cutler's playing for Miami. So, it's a slippery slope if guys get hurt and who they're actually going to pull. We think, because Cam was there, but if there was another guy, another quarterback on a roster that maybe is released, there's on a practice squad, and they feel more comfortable, their scouting department's been following that particular player, then they'll go pluck that guy off and try to bring him into a Patriots uniform. But maybe Jarrett Stidham, has showed enough. Who knows? He really hasn't had a lot of games.
He hadn't shown enough. No. He's
Brian
really
Hoyer,
shown nothing.
You don't want to go Brian Hoyer, but again, these teams are crafty. They put it this way: Belichick has a plan. If Mac Jones gets hurt, I'm sure he has some idea of which way he's going to go.
I'm sure he does too.
Team. Yeah,
I am curious, before we let you go, real quick, because we're just about out of time. Gardner Minshew, the move Jacksonville does to send him to Philly for the draft picks. Is that a desperation move on Philly's part, or do you think Gardner Minshew could help them?
I think Gardner Minshew can help them. I'm a big believer in Gardner Minshew. I'm also a big believer in Jalen Hurts, Dave. So, I mean, I think that's Jalen. It's Jalen's job to lose, but it's a great insurance policy, just like we were talking about the Patriots. If there is a slip-up, if Jalen Hurts doesn't come around like you'd have him, at least you have a serviceable backup that has a little bit of upside. I mean, only a couple of years of football underneath Gardner Minshew's belt, and it's a good opportunity for him. I think he has a better chance of earning time in Philly than he would behind Trevor Lawrence, the number one pick, the chosen one since the time he left high school and had a great career at Clemson. So I think it's a good move. Hopefully Jalen Hurts can, keep the job. I'm a big admirer of Jalen Hurts and Minshew, but I'd like to see Jalen Hurts keep that job and see some success for Philly.
Well, one thing for sure, it seems to me that we are seeing more and more NFL-ready quarterbacks coming out of college. This is not anything totally new, but it's certainly been that way the last 5 to 10 years. And you think about it, we know Trevor Lawrence is already the starting quarterback. We know Mac Jones today became the starting quarterback. It's just a matter of 2 or 3 games before Justin Fields is the starting quarterback in Chicago. It's a couple of games, if that, for Trey Lance in San Francisco. I mean, these guys are ready to go.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up because you look at Dwayne Haskins. He could not win the job in Washington. It basically took injuries before he could get on the field. You look like at a Paxton Lynch. You look at certain quarterbacks who, even though they were drafted high, they just don't make it. And I think it says it. If you are ready, if you're a Mac Jones, the Lawrences, Justin Fields. I mean, these guys they've shown enough that you can be a rookie. Look at Justin Herbert. COVID-19.
Yeah.
No, not able to, basically Zoom calls and Zoom practices. He goes to training camp. We know what happened with Tyrod Taylor with the lung, and, he gets that issue. And Justin Herbert steps in, and 31 touchdowns later, and so if you're good enough to do it, it's great to have practice. It's great. But if you're going to make it, you're going to make it no matter what. And if you're not, on the flip side, you can have all the practices and game time. If you're not going to be a good quarterback, you're just not going to be a good quarterback.
Have a good week, Bo. Thank you much. We appreciate it.
Stay safe, gentlemen.
That is our man from collegetopro.com. Bo Marchionte is brought to you in part by Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch. That is also the home to Genesis of Olive Branch. They got both of those wonderful products on the lot or inside the beautiful showroom, which they're redoing a little bit. If you get a time, go on down, take a look. You'll meet all this team that's been together for 14 years. They will absolutely take care of you as soon as you walk through the doors at Craft Road and Highway 78. That is the very first exit in Mississippi on Highway 78. I tell you what, a good job they all do. There are 355 Genesis dealers in the United States. And in this little area, Genesis of Olive Branch, the Homer Skelton folks, they're top 50. In the region, they're top 10. In the district, they're either 1 or 2 every single time. This is because they've been together and they understand the product and they deliver it to you and take care of you. And the product's so good, you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. And the performance of this technology is amazing. These G cars, the 70s, the fastest, the 90s, the smoothest, and they got those on the lot. And then they'll take care of you. Every new Hyundai and every new Genesis car, you get a 3-year, 36,000-mile maintenance package. Please let them change your oil and rotate your tires and do everything necessary to make sure your car is running at peak efficiency. Go see my guys. You can thank me later. That's Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. We'll pause for a second. When we come back to some more predicting. And we will take a look at Florida, at A&M, and at Auburn. And we'll tell you what they will do this year when we return.
You have opinions?
What do you hear? What do you say?
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
One of the things I love about betting on FanDuel Sportsbook is you get more than one shot. Right now, new and existing users can get up to $25 back in site credit each day Just place a minimum 5-leg baseball parlay, and if it falls one leg short, you get up to $25 back with parlay insurance. There's a reason FanDuel Sportsbook's America's #1 sportsbook. In addition to the parlay insurance, if you haven't tried FanDuel Sportsbook yet, new users can place your first bet risk-free. New users get up to $1,000 back in site credit if your first bet doesn't win. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code CASH to get in on the action. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only for risk-free bet. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max refund $25 per game. Restrictions apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
It's finally time to get out of the house. So make sure you stop by Family Leisure with great prices on in-stock and incoming products. Keep the kids active with play gyms, in stock, ready for delivery. And by the way, installation from the pros, I always recommend that. Markdowns on remaining game room products and those beautiful massage chairs. And the hot tubs, they're going fast. Get out of the house and get to Family Leisure. Wooden Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
I struggled with symptoms like frequent gas and stomach pain for years.
I was bloated all the time with daily diarrhea.
At first, I thought it was what I was eating.
I kept thinking it was stomach issues.
So I did my research and talked to my doctor, and we finally uncovered the truth.
It was actually EPI. Exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, is a condition where your pancreas is unable to help break down your food.
It can lead to symptoms like diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools.
And EPI symptoms can be confused with those of other common digestive conditions, like irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's, and celiac disease.
So getting to the right diagnosis meant being more open with my doctor about the severity of my symptoms and how often they were happening.
But there's good news. EPI is manageable, so don't wait any longer. Use the symptom checker at identifyepi.com and schedule a visit or call with your doctor to ask, could I have EPI?
Sponsored by AbbVie.
If ever there was a time for comfort food, this is it. And there's no comfort food like Sunrise on Jefferson. Fresh-made breakfast featuring Sunrise's signature homemade square biscuits or the huge selection of hot, fresh, and fast lunch items are all part of what has always made Sunrise the most comforting of comfort foods in Memphis. Of course, everything that can be done to keep you and the staff safe at Sunrise is a top priority. And you can always order ahead and get delicious Sunrise to go. At a time this confusing, it's good to know there's one thing you can count on. Sunrise.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
We welcome you back in, winding our way through what has turned out to be just a terrific Tuesday afternoon and plenty of good weather in the next few days ahead. You might want to think about getting out there and playing a little golf. That might be the way to go. And if you have not been to a Memphis City golf course in a while, telling you now's the time. Weather's going to be spectacular, as I just mentioned, and you won't find any of the golf courses in better shape. I talked to all these old-timers. If you go by the clubhouse at Audubon, they'll say, this is the best Audubon has been in a long, long time. Or you go to, just drive by Walnut Grove and you see Galloway, you'll go, oh, my goodness, it looks like a country club. You go to Fox Meadows and Ali and that crew, they'll tell you, best it's been. The greens are even in pretty darn good shape there. And then Pine Hill, same thing with Pine Hill. And I'm imploring you, play Pine Hill in its present form, because come November, they're going to definitely redo that golf course. New clubhouse, reworked holes, some of the great ones like 7, believe me, that's still going to be the same way it was. But you got a chance to really feel the history. I would get there if I were you. It is outstanding, and wait till you see the renovation. Now we got to wait till spring, but oh man, Overton Park is going to be special. City golf is special. It's an amenity for a city, and the guys in the city know that. And so they are providing you with these great golf courses at very reasonable prices. So if you haven't been to a Memphis City course in a while, go. You'll really, really appreciate it. Memphis City Golf, a sporting tradition for over 100 years. All right. You want to make some picks? Where do you want to start in the SEC between these three schools, Florida, A&M, and Auburn?
And Tennessee. 4 schools.
And Tennessee.
Let's start with Tennessee. I have them starting 3-0 over Bowling Green, the Johnny Majors Bowl against Pitt, and a win over Tennessee Tech, and then a loss at Gainesville and a loss at Columbia, 3-2. Not must win in a first year, but a very important game against South Carolina. They win it to get to 4-2. They lose the Lane Kiffin renewal, the Lane Kiffin homecoming to Knoxville. It won't feel like homecoming. They lose on the 4th Saturday of October in the famed 3rd Saturday of October game to Bama. Open date, lose to Kentucky and to Georgia. Win at a conference against South Alabama late in the year, and they beat Vanderbilt. 6 up, 6 down, 2-6 in the league, and prime for the AutoZone Liberty Bowl.
Well, I'm very close to you, but the way I have it is they will not be going bowling. They will not make the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. They'll be 5-7. The biggest difference, because we're alike on everything with the exception of the Pitt game in Knoxville. I think Pitt will get them there in what you call the Johnny Majors thing. How many people still realize Johnny Majors?
Well, they're celebrating it as that. They
are?
It
Okay. Mm-hmm. I did not realize. They're calling it the Johnny Majors Bowl?
Well, there's a tribute to him. I don't know if they're calling it a bowl, but a tribute to Johnny Majors, having coached at both places.
That's great. I love Johnny. Got to do a few games with Johnny. And I know that when he came back these last few years that he was there, he was at peace. He was happy. So that's terrific. But I don't think the Tennessee's going to get Pitt.
I have them 6-6. I think they win against Bowling Green, a close one against Pitt, against Tennessee Tech. Then I have them winning against South Carolina, and then not again until South Alabama and Vanderbilt.
Just like me.
Yeah, you guys are exactly the same, and I'm exactly like you except for the Pitt game. That's it.
All right, Texas A&M. I only have them one loss. We can save time. That loss being the last game of the year to LSU. So that means Jimbo Fisher becomes that first Nick Saban former assistant, the protege, to defeat him when he defeats Alabama on October 9th in College Station. They're 11-0 until Thanksgiving weekend, and they lose to LSU in Baton Rouge.
Hate to say it, that is 100% exactly what I have.
Bryant?
12-0.
12-0?
Whoa, yeah. I think they beat LSU.
Wow. He's really going out on the limb.
Florida Gators. Florida Atlantic, they win. South Florida, they win. They lose in Gainesville on a hot day to Alabama. They beat Tennessee. They beat Kentucky. They beat Vandy. Then they lose at Baton Rouge to LSU. They lose in the cocktail party to Georgia. And then they close out with 4 straight wins over South Carolina, Samford, Mizzou, and Florida State. 9-3 for the Gators, 5-3 in the league, and that might be considered bad. If it gets too loud on Dan Mullen, he may say, so long.
To the NFL, I'll go. I'm close, but we're missing one game. I've got them beating Florida Atlantic. I've got them beating South Florida. I've got them losing to Alabama. I've got them beating Tennessee. But I have
Kentucky.
I have them losing to Kentucky. That's the difference. I've got them 8-4 and 4-4.
Brett?
9-3. I think I'm the exact same as Brett.
A lot of copy and paste. Last one, Auburn. First-year head coach Brian Harsin, already under a lot of criticism over his vaccination status. Who knew that would ever be an issue? But it is. I have Auburn 7-5 on the year, wins over Akron and Alabama State, and then they go to Penn State. And I think James Franklin really puts one on Auburn. I think Penn State puts one on Wisconsin this Saturday. Auburn defeats Georgia State, and then they lose to LSU and Georgia. They win at Fayetteville. They win on the Plains against Ole Miss. They lose at College Station. Then they beat Mississippi State and South Carolina before their Iron Bowl loss to Bama at home. Bama hadn't beaten them in Jordan-Hare in a while. 7-5, 4-4.
I've got them 7-5, 4-4, but a different route. I've got them beating Akron and Alabama State. I also have them losing and handily at Penn State. Got them beating Georgia State, losing to LSU. I've got them beating Georgia. There's an upset for you right there. Then I've got them beating Arkansas, losing to Ole Miss, losing to A&M, beating State, beating South Carolina, and losing to Alabama. Same record as you, 7-5, 4-4.
I have them as 6-6. I've got them beating Akron, beating Alabama State, losing to Penn State, beating Georgia State, losing to LSU, losing to Georgia, beating Arkansas, losing to Ole Miss. Oh, wait, no. Beating Ole Miss. Losing to A&M, losing to Mississippi State, and then beating South Carolina and losing to Alabama.
Yeah, any Ole Miss 9 or north math I think would have to have a win at Auburn, and I just don't see only one win down there in a while, and that was in 2015, and that was in a year to win at Tuscaloosa and on the Plains. Look, you got to get a new Silverado truck to get out to football this fall, and you need to go to All-Star Chevrolet and start your football season there. So many certified pre-owned Chevys. If it's a Chevy you want this fall, Olive Branch is where you've got to start the football season. If you have a car or truck to sell, All-Star will buy it. Even if you owe money on it, bring the title, and they'll get you your check today. Remember, it's not South Haven, not Mount Moriah, not Collierville, not the Pike. It's got to be Olive Branch. Start football season. Start every season with the great people at All-Star Chevrolet, off Kraft Goodman, or go to allstarautogroup.com.
I don't know if we're predicting coaches of the year, but I can tell you this right now. If Brian Dacus is right and A&M is 12-0, Jimbo Fisher is clearly going to be the conference coach of the year.
And then they'll give him a raise, because he's only making it on $7 million a year.
Yeah, I know.
7.5.
If indeed, let's just say, because
we only have them with one loss.
I've got 1, 2, 3 teams. What was that? 1, 2, 3, 4 teams with double-digit wins. Okay.
As do I.
If that occurs, what kind of story in your mind ends up coach of the year? Is it a young guy who came up and kind of surprised everybody, or is it one of the veterans that won with 10 or 11 or 12
it's the
wins?
guy beat Nick Saban.
Yeah, well.
That's your tiebreaker. I've got 13 out of 14 SEC teams going to a bowl.
13 of 14? Wow. So you've got some kind of parity there. See if I can.
But it's not. It's not really parity if you have 4 double-digit win teams. It's a broad middle. It's a tier. It's the one-loss teams, and then it's kind of everybody else, and then a little bit at the bottom.
I've only got 10 teams that would be bowl eligible. I think 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I've only got 10 teams bowl eligible. So you've got. So you're the only one I'm suspecting that you don't think gets to 6 wins is Vandy.
I picked them 3-9 yesterday.
Right. Remember, and you think everybody else gets at least 6 wins? Wow. And they start beating each other up. I'll see. I think that'll be 13. That'll be hard to get to. If that happens, that would. I don't think any league has ever done that before. That would be a record. That would absolutely be a record. We'll pause for just 1 second. When we come back, it'll be Taco Bell Crunch time.
Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and Anthony Zane comes your way every weekday morning from 7 till 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis to get your personal, no obligation quote from the moving experts at Black Tie Moving.
Mid-South, get ready to enjoy your Summer in Style sales event at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Get all-wheel control system, pedestrian detection, lane departure warning, and 5-star safety rating with your 2022 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross SE. We Gossett $209 a month. Get advanced technology with My Pilot Assist, 7-passenger and fun to drive 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander. We Gossett $229 a month. And they're all powered by our stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. It's time to get your groove on at Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Both 48-month leases, $10,000 per year, $750 loyalty rebate, $500 military rebate, $250 Ally Military CCRA Cross, NZ003186, MSRP $27,725, Outlander NZO 19057, MSRP $20,080, includes all manufacturer rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 8/31/2021, dealer stock only.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Right now, a 5-quart jug of Napa full synthetic motor oil is just $18.99. It keeps your engine from breaking down without breaking the bank. Yep, a 5-quart jug of Napa full synthetic for $18.99 is not just a great deal. It's the break you've been waiting for. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how. At participating locations does not include state, local taxes, or recycling fees. Advertised sale price may not be available in some states. Offer ends 8/31/21.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
Come on, Muhammad, then we hit fame. We beat you with the deal, we get insane.
And we welcome you back in. Final portion of our Tuesday afternoon. It's brought to you by Ken Garland. That's Ken Garland Custom Home Builders. This is a second generation, a genius. His dad was a genius. He's a genius. And if you go to kengarland.com, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. There are so few people, I think, that have the ability to see the minute details, architectural drawings, every little specific detail that you got, and the big picture all at once. And that's what Ken and his dad could both do. And I love talking to him because you're always going to learn a little bit of something new in the building business. Or it could be real estate, because if you're looking for land, he's got it. If you've got a piece of land, maybe it's been in your family a while, you're ready to pull the trigger, have that dream home, you're just not sure what to do, Ken knows. And if you go to kengarland.com, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. And Ken, he's understanding. He knows this is a big financial decision. You're making a commitment, and he commits to you. He works with you all the way, very closely with all the clients, and he ensures you get what you deserve, which is quality construction on time, on budget. 2 generations. It's either been these beautiful homes or renovations. I call it renovation with innovation, because he will take all of today's wonderful modern technology amenities and put them into your old home. I like to say he makes that older home a modern palace. So if you love your lot and you love your location, get a new house kind of with a renovation with innovation from Ken Garland, Custom Home Builders. All of a sudden, it's Taco Bell crunch time.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is Geraldo. It is crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins. It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
Looking for something new at Taco Bell? Try the original tacos meets the instant classic, nacho fries. There's bound to be some magic. Nacho fries are essentially building blocks for culinary imagination. Slightly seasoned, go with bold spices. Warm nacho cheese and sour cream, loaded taco fries are covered with seasoned beef, nacho cheese sauce, ranch, tomato, and shredded cheese. In short, the legend of nacho fries lives on.
Learn today, Alabama against the U on Saturday in Atlanta. Bryant Denny East for Alabama, 15-1 in Atlanta since Nick Saban became the head coach at Alabama. That one lost in the SEC championship game to Florida in 2008. In neutral site games since Nick Saban became head coach, 26-6. They're good anywhere against anybody.
No doubt. No doubt. Just learned a little bit ago from the Philadelphia Inquirer NBA writer Keith Pompey, Ben Simmons wants out of Philly. Of course, they've been trying to move him, but now he has told Team Brass, including Doc Rivers and President of Basketball Ops Daryl Morey last week, he does not want to play for the team at all and will not show up to camp. And I almost feel sorry for the 76ers because this is a guy who makes a lot of money. He may be the most flawed player I know of to get the kind of money. He's in the second year of a $177 million 5-year contract. If you're the Sixers, you're in a bad spot because now everybody knows he's not going to play for you, and you're not going to get much for him because he doesn't want to play for you. It is a real dilemma. And that is exactly what Ben Simmons is, a flawed guy who got too much money, and now he wants out.
Could have done without this Saturday. It was always one of the more boring games ever that I've been to. But it renews this Saturday. Arkansas and Rice gives me almost nightmares thinking of some of the bad parts of the old Southwest Conference. It was nothing like sitting through a loss to Rice, and I did one night in 1980 at War Memorial Stadium. 17-16, a backup guard, left-footed kicker, straight on, came in and nailed it at the buzzer to win 17-16. Arkansas leads that all-time series pretty big, first meeting since 1991.
A left-footed kicker.
Backup guard, number 67.
And it was
came in and nailed it.
It's straight on? Was it like
straight on?
Square toe?
Put the kicking shoe on and everything.
Wow.
It was the indignity of all time.
You know, we don't have very many left-footed kickers. I don't.
We don't have any straight-on kickers.
No, that's long.
Or as I once described an Arkansas kicker, a friend of mine, Steve Cox, I described him as the last straight kicker at Arkansas. He said, please call straight on.
Please. Yeah, better. I could have done without this story. This is Bryson DeChambeau, who just absolutely is a lightning rod for the PGA Tour. So much so now that the commissioner has had to step up and tell people.
Mean to beefcakes.
Tell people you can't heckle.
Don't be mean to beefcakes.
You can't say Brooksy anymore, which was sort of an insult to Bryson, and it was because of Koepka. And this is the explanation from Jay Monahan, the commissioner. The barometer that we are all using is the word respect. And to me, when you hear Brooksy yelled or you hear any expression yelled, the question is that respectful or disrespectful? That has been going on for an extended period of time. To me, at this point, it's disrespectful, and that's the kind of behavior we're not going to tolerate going forward. So if you say Brooksy, the cops are going to come and remove you.
So next Sunday at the Tour Championship, when I'm at East Lake, you want me to get to be the first one tossed yelling Brooksy at him?
Gosh, I would love that. Would you do that?
Should I?
Would you do
Should
that?
I take the hit for the show?
First of all, we'd get national pub on
We would.
this. We would get and
Do it in a WHBQ golf shirt.
I was going to say, wear your Sports 56 golf shirt on there,
and Wolo and Stats on the back.
That's fine. That's fine.
I wouldn't do that to my East Lake host.
No, I know.
But I will say this to the commissioner, and I love him, and he's been great to Memphis. But how do you talk what's disrespectful when there are actual boos at that Animal House Clown Show par 3 at Phoenix?
Yeah, well,
when there's actually booing at that.
Well, and the other thing is, how do you get you sort of let DeChambeau behave the way he did toward Patrick Cantlay just the other night? And you know what?
Now you get Harrison English.
If I was, that's exactly what I was going to say. If I were Patrick Cantlay, I would have said, shut up. I'm not going to let you do to me what you did to Harris English.
You've told me to shut up on the golf course when I was walking around. You told me to stop.
Well, it was probably after you pointed at the scoreboard.
Keeping a close eye tonight on not the Cardinals and the Reds. Rained out. Will be a doubleheader. 6,700 last night at the Trop. Let's see if they draw a little better than that.
That's
tonight
impossible.
for first place Rays against the Boston Red Sox. Meanwhile, last night, much larger city too, Dodger Stadium had 50,000 stoked last night in Chavez Ravine. Tonight, Braves-Dodgers. How about this pitching matchup deluxe? Charlie Morton, 12-5 against Walker Buehler, 13-2. That's a great pitching matchup. And Brewers and Giants tonight. That could be the early look at the NLCS.
I'm going to tell you right now, Tampa's not that small. Tampa.
It sure isn't, Dave.
Between Tampa and St. Pete.
I mean, is this ballpark on the moon? I mean, everybody talks about where it is. I mean, is it in North Carolina?
No, it's in St. Petersburg.
Okay.
You have to go if you're from Tampa, which is where the majority of the population is. You got to go
all the way over there.
You got to go over a long bridge.
Okay.
It takes a while.
Are we talking about that long bridge in Turkey? I mean, how long is this bridge?
Have you ever been there? Seriously,
I have been. I mean, but it's described like people are going to Calgary to these games.
Calgary's actually got a better stadium. Where they, what's their Canadian
6,700 for the dominating team that Kevin Cash puts on that field every night.
That is incredible. I agree with you. I don't understand that. I don't.
You had that many last night in North Little Rock at Dickie Stevens for the Rays and Red Sox.
Well, they might have had, for the Travelers, they might have had 6,700.
I don't think they play on Monday night.
If they were giving away, nobody plays on Monday night. And
apparently, if they'd had Captain Dynamite in the day, they would have.
That must have been, they thought St. Pete thought it was.
Man, in the day, you go to any Traveler game and Captain Dynamite. Did you ever see his act?
No.
The guy got in a box and blew it up.
Wow, what were they paying him to do that? That's
a lot of dental work, too, because he came out of there weak a couple times.
That's great. That is incredible. We thank Gabe Kuhn. We thank Brett Beard. We thank Bo Marchant. We'll make more baseball picks tomorrow. We'll make more football picks and all kinds of good things on the agenda. We'll see you then. Have a great night, everybody.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do